Hello, everybody, and welcome to week 37 of From the Ink Up. This week, we're going to have some awesome, fantastic matches for you. We're going to be starting with a match. What is the match again? I am so sorry. It is going to... I am so sorry. I'm going to introduce my co-host. Hello, this is Cytogast.
Hi, I'm Cytogast. These are the two teams that are at least facing each other. Is Solaris versus Storm and a Teacup. Those two are the first to go against each other. I'm not entirely sure what the first map mode is, but those are the...
Alright, allow me to check that, and then we can discuss what our thoughts on that map is. It's going to be Clamblitz Inkblot.
Nice.
Yeah, this is this really interesting map. You have the two stacks that are kind of iconic for Inkblot to have. You have the addition of the very large ramp leading into the plat there. It's going to be interesting to see if we see any of the new buffed specials, such as Chumps. I think Chumps could be very interesting going into the plat of Inkblot. And also, there's a lot of people raving about the new increased size of the explosion of Inkback, but personally, I'm still a little bit skeptical.
Yeah, perfectly reasonable, especially considering that first match is going to be on Clam Blitz, which can't so easily take advantage of the new buff. But here we are going into the first match.
All right. From both sides, we seem to. So we have on one side we have a Splash Nautilus, Ballpoint, and a Tetra, a double Splatling comp coming out from the side of Storm and a Teacup. On the other side, we have a Zap Ballpoint Wiper Shot. The new Shot getting Shot and Zap both getting buffs in the most recent patch. Uh, let's see what they're gonna get into.
Very interesting to see that the comp with Tetras isn't running Cooler, and the comp with Cooler isn't running Tetras.
Yes,
But the
we already did see the ballpoint go down once here. We do see the Zuka coming out and already ending. Unfortunately, not able to grab a pick. We have these Tetras distracting a lot of attention, but unfortunately going down in a 2v1 here as unfortunately they're coolered up, but they are seemingly retreating away from this rain right now as they're sort of pivoting around trying to get more space onto the side of Solaris as we see the hammer getting thrown into plat, but they back up from it as well, not taking the space from the hammer that they just threw.
Yeah, we're currently in a stalemate type of position here. Specials are being popped and occasional picks are being thrown, but there's no really taking advantage of the taking advantage of the advantages that the teams are gaining with those picks. The Jet does come out, and they are starting to see if they can get a push going here, but they seem to be trading back and down. Orange is now down 2, and then they're starting to actually get a push here together, and they're trying to get back and collect some clams so that they can actually get some points in here.
Yeah, Solaris seem now is definitely have very solid control of mid. They're definitely trying to collect their clams here and get this push together. That is an amazing hammer throw, taking out the Nautilus in the attic from the Wiper here, and another pick from the Torpedo here. This Wiper is just going off, but unfortunately gets taken down from the Ballpoint. Ballpoint very weak, having to back up into the bats here as we see the first score on the side of Solaris.
And they are just going in. They're just trying to make something happen here. Inkblot can potentially become a really stalling map, but when your pushes get going, you need to really get those points in because it's pretty hard to go back in the mid and get the clams. They only score down to 71, and usually you want to get below 60 so that you can prevent the double power clam from the enemy team. But here we are back in mid. Solaris is still at a disadvantage here. They go down 3. It seems to be that this Storm and a Teacup is just straight up making another push immediately. Delayed wipe almost.
Yes, we see the Wiper on the side of Solaris making a power claim and then throwing popping their hammer, not getting a pick with it, but they were able to survive the double splatling onslaught that we see coming from the side. They're able to take the pick onto the onto the ballpoint as the Reef Slider gets the trade back, and it's just a Nautilus versus I believe a Splash trying to back up here. And still kind of holding their ground, though, kind of using the cover from the plat wall to just kind of pressure this Nautilus as they were kind of alone for a second there.
Really, really fast play there. They were able to score under 30 this time, which is a really nice, safe number to be at under 2 minutes here. And Storm and Teacup still having the advantage. Even when they went down, they still had a cooler when they were going down, so their trades were actually extremely in their favor. And here they are popping another jet, taking all the sides that they need to invade the plat of Solaris once again. And they score, but it doesn't seem to be going too far, too much longer here that they're going to be able to get any clams in.
Yeah, we see the ballpoint pick up the newly made pity as another one goes down in the plat, and then we see a wipeout on to Storm in a Teacup as Solaris is getting another push together, and they open the basket again. They have a considerable amount of clams, but Storm in the Teacup is coming back in. They're getting these. They're all one clam away, and that is the end, and I believe the win to Solaris.
Nice. It's a very
Yeah,
fast end to a pretty solid game.
Yeah, Solaris had a very solid control after that first push there when they got only down to 70 there. It was not many clams after that first push, but the second push was very dominating. They sort of held control of mid and were able to sort of pressure the plat for pretty much the rest of the game. Um, very dominating. Oh, it was the other way around. Okay. I was wrong about the team names. Okay. So it was Storm in the Teacup. Okay. Yeah, it was Storm in the Teacup, and Solaris was the team with the tag. Uh, my bad. But yeah, Storm in the Teacup got that win there. They had a very dominating control of the game that entire time. Solaris did have some good moments, though. I do think that their push back out after the first push was very solid. Unfortunately, they just went down to that Wiper, who went really solidly on a rampage there.
Of course. And in that particular, well, in this particular type of game, sometimes when certain things happen, like a big push from the enemy team comes, there are things that, like, once you're there, it's pretty hard to come back, but there are things you could have done in the past that would have made it much easier to prevent that type of situation. I believe the moment that switched from being even to definitely in Storm and Teacup's favor was after the first push when they only scored to 71. That was still a pretty good position for Solaris there, because they could still push it back into mid and take back the space that they needed.
Yes. So we are going to see them going into the next game. The next game is going to be on Splat Zone's Hagglefish, notoriously a very kind of stally map, as you have that sort of choke point, the choke point that is the zone. And you do have obviously the flanks on the side, but they're very easily covered by backlines such as Ballpoint, as we did see from both teams there. What are your thoughts on Splat Zone's Inkblot? Inkblot, Haggle.
Yes,
sorry.
Splat Zone's Haggle. Hagglefish seems like one of those maps that everyone loves, not entirely because it's too fun, but because it seems pretty fair, because it gives you that tent spot, the canopy or whatever, that the backlines can stand on, and it's a really good spot to stand on. However, it doesn't give you any ground to hide in, or you don't get your ink back up, so you have to eventually go back on the wall and become vulnerable for a bit. In that sense, it makes it really fair to play against backlines in that stage, but it does lead to really, as you said, potentially stally games, because it's just kind of hard to push up aside from mid, and if they're watching their flanks, it's really hard to move anywhere. But here they are. Similar comps to last time, it seems.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing the same comp coming out from Solaris here, the double splatling. It seems like to be something that they're very confident in. We do see they switch to Wiper Deco on the side of Solaris, as well as a switch from a Splash to a T-Tech. Strikes are very solid on this map, so that's a very solid decision there. And we see that I think we saw a little bit of special charge on this Tetras as I'm talking about it, to get that Reef Slider early and get those cheesy caps, as we see the Crab pushing back the Wiper Deco currently, as the zone is kind of neutral, and it goes into Storm and a Teacup's favor.
Nice take instantly there. They immediately got 3 down, and they of course they took the zone, and then they started pushing up. They're still pretty even right now, although Solaris is pushing back in, and they're contesting the zone right now. They're going to really want to try and take here if possible, but they seem to just have to get the picks here. They pop a Crab. They're an important zone cap there to give the other team pity. The T-Tech got a push from their charge in, and then they remained safe, incredibly. But now it seems as though Solaris, I believe? No, this is Storm in a Teacup. Orange team has now taken back the zone, and they are scoring even more points than they were before.
Yes, very much so. It definitely seemed like Solaris was struggling to deal with the double shooter and the Wiper Deco. Very good painting weapons, all very good painting weapons on the side of Storm in the Teacup. Solaris does have very strong main weapons and specials, though, coming out with this Crab, this Inkjet, this Storm, the Nautilus, and the Tetras, but they have to find a way to break through the solid map control here, as we see Azuka get an amazing double there, a triple from the shot, ending the game. and that will be giving the set to Storm in a Teacup. However, we still have a game 3. Solaris has a chance to make this a 2-1.
Oh. Really fast games can potentially happen to Hagglefish at the same time, as stally as it may be.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that was a very, very solid game once again from Storm and Akita. They just the paint output that they had there from the double shooter, the strikes, the wiper, the missiles, the ballpoint, where it's just able to overwhelm the kill power from the side of Solaris and just outpaint them on the zone. And sort of hold that space. You know, Nautilus needs a lot of paint to work with, so does Tetras. And it sort of seemed like a very good comp to counter Solaris.
Yeah, it's very important to have paint for your Knot. It's a bit of might be overlooked, especially considering that Knot doesn't even have a special that can, or a sub that can paint. The special definitely can. But yeah, like you said, at the end, it was very at the end they were just popping their specials, and then the T-Tech was able to go in and clean up 3 players near the end, crucial moment. They seem to play really well off of the advantages that they do make, and just playing into any type of mistakes that the enemy team might make.
Yeah. We are going to be going into Tower Control Manta for the last game. It's a very interesting map. Not a lot of open, comparative to a lot of other maps in the game, there's not a lot of open sight lines, and there's not a lot of, like, ledges that you can really poke from underneath. It's kind of a very interesting map for this game, especially on tower control. You can use the tower to jump into interesting areas of the enemy base at certain points along the route. What do you think about these two teams going into that map?
You said, was it Tower?
Tower Manta.
Manta, yeah, okay. When you said using the tower jump in the interesting parts of the map, that is something I don't see too much of Manta, and I really want to see more. And I hope that one of the teams here will take advantage of that, because it always makes for an interesting defense.
We see from the side of Solaris a roller machine, and once again that solid double splatling Nautilus and Ballpoint here. And from the side of Storm of the Teacup, we have the Zap coming back. We have the Vanilla Wiper. We have that comp from the original, like the first game here, coming back with a vengeance. We see one go down already on both sides here. The machine and the Ballpoint we're very even right now, 2-2. They're kind of poking back and forth. This Wiper's trying to get a hold of the enemy bunker here, fighting this roller. The roller's gonna pop Kraken, but unfortunately get canceled as this hammer is rampaging through Solaris's street.
Yeah, and now Storm at Teacup is taking advantage of the space that they have. They're certainly their V shots pushed far up. They end up getting a trade there, and the trades that they get here are crucial, because even though they might be trades, they're definitely still in their favor, because they're still playing at the advantage here. And they really are just pushing them pretty far back in here. They still have a lot of specials to work with. They have another cooler here, and on it just seems as though the tower just keeps getting pushed forward, and it's times like this where the double splatling sort of will have a little bit of trouble pushing in, because they'll just wipe out. They'll just have, wow. And that's game. That's the set. It was 3-0.
Yes, that was a very, very dominating last game from Storm in a Teacup there. They had just this tower is one of those, is the snowball mode. And Storm in the Teacup is was shown through that set, was very good at taking advantage of the space that they can create, and those advantages that their specials create, from like the distraction of the Wiper and the hammer, the Zuka from the shot player, very amazing. Able to got a triple in the 2 previous games there. And Storm to Teacup, just a very strong, dominating game. Solaris did have some very good moments there. They didn't get KO'd on the first two games there. They did have some solid takebacks. They're definitely not something to snuff at, and this should be something that we should look forward to see if they make bracket tonight and where they're going to go through the rest of the tournament.
Exactly, and that's something to keep in mind for honestly any set you do in any type of tourney is just because a set goes a certain way doesn't mean instantly like every stat that the other team had was better. From what I've seen, these teams are played pretty often and they trade pretty well in the start. It's just like when it comes to takebacks and playing after the trades happen and then you're back to 4v4, that's the part that I think Solaris could potentially work on versus most other things, and that's where these types of tournaments may help with that type of improvement. Is because from this you can realize like, okay, we are doing fine except for this part where we need to go back in, and why are they able to push us back into our base?
Yes, yes. Well, we are going to go on a little break here before we get to round 2 of groups. We'll see you back in a bit.
We'll see. Hello and welcome back to From the Ink Up Week 37. This is round 2, and this is going to be teams Kit Kat versus Bitterling, both teams I believe are going to Riptide 2023, which is interesting. That's fun. Riptide soon. It's like
Riptide
less than 2
very,
months.
very soon. So this will be an interesting matchup. It's like a they'll get a sneak peek if they fight each other during Riptide here. Uh, so we're going to be going into Rainmaker Sturgeon Shipyard for the first game of this round. It's a very interesting map. Sturgeon in this game has some slight alterations, a paintable ramp, some other uh, interesting it's like the
Yeah,
what
the
is it
box, the
the
top left.
yeah, the box in top left and some other changes comparison to Splatoon 2, but Rainmaker plays very similarly as it did before. You have the route through sort of their sponge or their court up the ramp, and just like that route, or you have the quicker, more interesting route on the upper part on the far left. What are your thoughts on the map?
I honestly think it is like top 2 or 3 like Rainmaker maps. These always make for some of the most interesting Rainmaker games. At least to watch, because to play on it's still really fun, but definitely to watch because sometimes you get like a complete I did not expect that coming type of play where they'll just go the left route when you expect it or the right route, or maybe even they'll make the jump on the top right over their court directly. It's a really interesting map to see, especially in Maker. I feel like it's both good to play and watch.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's also some like interesting interactions with the way that the map is shaped. With the specials in this game, especially after the Zuka buff, Zuka like arcing over the snipe into their sort of core area. I feel like it would be very interesting to see Zuka in this set here. There's some other interesting. Um, Obviously, Crab is very good. Inkja has some very cool positions that it can get to, be very high up and kind of protect itself from getting shot down. Uh, some other interesting ones like I think Chumps with the new buff could be interesting to see here. Sort of putting it in those like key spots like Court Street, just kind of anywhere you want to like try to sneak the Rainmaker through. So yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see. I do know a little bit about Bitterling, as they were a team during uh, Ludi season 13, the most recent one, in the same division. So I do know Falco plays like juniors, Blaster. Probably going to see something along those lines. Probably expecting like a C junior maybe. But that's the extent of my knowledge
Hmm.
on these two teams here.
Yeah, well, it'll definitely be interesting to see. Both of these teams are pretty strong from what I know. And
Yes.
it definitely, like you said, especially stuff like Jet will be very strong. Even if it got nerfed, it still can basically go most places on the map, regardless of geometry. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah,
We're going to be seeing a brush wiper uh, the shot and a NZAP from the side of Kit Kat, and from the side of Bitterling, we're going to be seeing a Zap, a Hydra Splatling, a a V Tri Slosher, and a Swiffer. This is a very interesting combination of weapons here.
yeah, very very different comps. Immediately, one goes down a Kit Kat, and Bitterling goes in and takes the control that they get from that pick. They're pretty close to Jet here, and everyone's backed up in their court. They might be able to get some more picks off of this.
A very, very strong Jet position here from the Tri Slosher, as we see the Rainmaker gets a pick onto the person on snipe, as they're probably going to get another pick on this person running up on them. They do not get that trade there, as we see the Zap trying to get the trade back. Unfortunately, the Booyah is what it takes to get that person down, as their Hydra Splatling on the side of Bitterling goes down, and we sort of see the Wiper moving up into this left side here, going down in Hammer. A very quick lead change, as there was not a lot of points taken here. Brush getting into a very powerful position as the Rainmaker goes down, unfortunately sort of ending that push for them.
Yeah, it's still a pretty even position. The points are really low here still, and it seems so someone's trying to shark here on the left side. I believe that's the Enzap here. The Enzap's still behind them. Let's see if they can get a pick here. They do. It's a really nice play there, and they're backing up, taking the taking the pick that they got, and they're gonna try and play around that cooler that they just earned. Here they are,
Yeah,
looking to go left side probably.
yeah, this is going to put them in a very advantageous position there with that pick, with that cooler here. We see the Zipcaster coming out from the Octobrush not getting too much value before before it recalls here, as the hammer sort of kind of goes through Bitterling's court here. We see the Hydra setting up in this bubble, which is very, very solid position, but they do back up to snipe here, as the strikes do come out from the side of Kit Kat, sort of creating that space here. Um, Hydra's trying to set up on these grates here. It's a great position as 3 go down, 4 go. That was a delayed
Huge.
wipe from the side of Kit Kat. And this is going to be Bitterling's chance to push this Rainmaker and get the lead and get this checkpoint here, as they do get that checkpoint. And the Jet comes out to try to continue and extend this push.
Yeah, and the spinner's going down, so they actually can continue the left side push here. But they do go 2 down, and it seems as though this the try is backing up and dropped. So the push does end there, but they do get the check, and that's the important thing. The Hydra seems to be rotating really good around after getting their picks, and both teams seem to, whenever they're neutral here, they seem to be trying to go for just like going in with cooler and seeing what happens, which is sort of the state of the game now. But it's always pretty fun to see how those engagements go.
Yes, for sure. As you said, that that check is very important, especially on this map, because now you can take the alternative route and take that safer amount of points. Because that's like the fast push on the left side generally, because they got that delayed wipe, they were able to take that. We do see the Luna here take out the Brush and take out another. Are they going to get a quad here? And yes, they do, but the Brush is already back from that cooler and is able to get the trade back, and the Brush is able to get another. It's probably going to get the rain here as well, getting a triple.
Wow.
This is trading back and forth. This is the power of cooler. Uh, and as you can see, Bitterling is already back because they were dying with cooler as well. This is just so
That's
much
insane.
bloodshed happening in mid here right now. They're sort of trying to fight over this control. As Kit Kat once again loses the Rainmaker here, as this Wiper takes out the Zap, but goes down to the Tri-Slosher.
Yeah, I gotta hand it to them. At least their go-in weapons know exactly who to go in for to make sure that their trade is definitely going to be in their favor, with or without cooler. A lot of them are marked, and it seems as though there's going to have to be something going on here, because they're definitely pushing into each other. Bitterling goes down 3 for a second there. They did have cooler, but Kit Kat might have a chance to grab the right side check here, but the Jet seems to be shutting down that push immediately, and all go down. That's a delayed wipe from on the side of Kit Kat goes on the delayed wipe, and then Bitterling goes back into mid. They still have check, and there's only 15 seconds left for Kit Kat to make a push here.
Yeah, Kit Kat does only currently have to get past that first checkpoint, only slightly, just 2 points. It's totally entirely possible, but they need to be able to pop that Rainmaker and grab it now. But it was very deep into purple paint, and so that is going to be Bitterling taking game 1.
Wow. A really nice effort put forth from Kit Kat in that last push, trying to go right side. I think all 4 of them went right, which is probably why the Jet was able to play so well off of that. They were all grouped up on that right side.
Yeah, that Jet was very key in sort of defending Bitterling's position there. If they were able to get that check, Kit Kat would have been in a much better position to take the lead there, especially since they had just died with Cooler. And Cooler obviously is like very good into Jet, as it decreases the amount of value and space that you're able to take from those Jet picks due to the recall. But we are going to be seeing these 2 teams go into Clamblitz Brine Water, another um, I think kind of controversial map. Some people like it, some people don't. I think it's very. Um, I'm personally a fan of it. I think it's one of the more interesting and better Clan Blitz maps in the game. Uh, I'm excited to see with that set with the two coolers sort of fighting back and forth and all that bloodshed, especially in a mode like Clams where it's sort of a team deathmatch until somebody gets a wipe. What do you think about these two teams going into this map?
Two teams going to this map. Well, firstly, yeah, this map, I definitely agree. It's pretty hard to be neutral on this map. Usually, either like it pretty well or definitely dislike it. But definitely, Hydra is something that can still really work here. With Rainmaker on Sturgeon, it was a bit harder because of like when you need to back up off a snipe on Sturgeon as Hydra, it's really hard to get another position that does something that's pretty good without being at risk of getting shot. So Brine Water is still pretty nice for Hydra. The snipe on that stage is much more accepting of backlines versus a Sturgeon Rainmaker.
Yeah, it's a lot safer of a position as I mean you can get poked out from underneath, but it you don't have as many ways to like flank around and sort of take out that we're going to be seeing I believe the switch to V Splash on the side of Kit Kat here. Otherwise, same comp, I believe. And we're going to be seeing the same comp from Bitterling here. We're seeing that Hydra that you were talking about at the start here, already setting up on that snipe and sort of taking a lot of space.
Yeah, and for sure, the V-Try pick definitely isn't. I believe that it's definitely on purpose because it's Toxic Mist for Rainmaker and Brine Water is definitely not something that should be scoffed at, and can definitely decide if you're getting a push to happen or not. They make a quick trade here on both teams. The Zipcaster comes out, but now there are two in mid. Uh, Kit Kat here is just holding the power clam in mid and seeing what can happen, but the Hydra is just completely denying mid there. And they're still marked, and they're still trying to make something happen, but the Jet comes out, and they're once again forced out of mid. One goes down, and now
Yeah,
they should be pushing back here.
yeah. Without that cooler there, it's kind of difficult to fight into that jet. We do see that the brush and the crab are kind of trying to pinch on that bubble. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get a pick as the Hydra threw their booyah at said crab, sort of getting that space. The Hydra's on the floor now. The Hydra is in a very confident spot, trying to take the space, make this push happen right now. As one goes down on the side of Kit Kat here. Kit Kat's kind of locked up in their base. They do have a clam. Um, but Bitterling very clearly has control of mid here. They're going to need to be watching out for those side flanks as the brush might be wanting to take them, but that's what the Squiffer's for. That's what those point sensors are for, trying to make sure that those flanks don't happen.
Well, two down. Uh, uh, Kit Kat here seems to be trying to push in, playing off of those two down. But oh wait, it's still definitely happening. Another one goes down on Kit Kat. Two go down on Kit Kat. And now they're definitely pushing in. Now they're scoring, and the Zipcaster tries to stop them, but is unfortunately unable to because of the big bubbler that they very well timed there from the Squiffer.
Yeah. Bitterling is going to get a very solid amount of score there, down to 41, as the Zap is able to escape the clutches of the pushback from Kit Kat there, as Kit Kat's trying to set up and take back more space. Uh, One thing that Kit Kat needs to really do is be mindful of that Hydra and try to move them, as they're sort of a backlineless comp. They have to sort of try to focus on removing that sort of turret of pressure. And we do see that two go down on the side of Bitterling, forcing the try and the Hydra to have to back up here, as the strikes are also pushing in and taking more space. We do see the Booyah and the uh, Jet come out here as a counter push to stop it, as the Jet is able to take out the hammer. And a ball is made on the side of Kit Kat, but they're not really able to do much out of that because all of the specials from the side of Bitterling push them back into mid.
Right, and the one special that they did pop, Kit Kat did pop, was a crab on bottom left that did not work out so well. So now Bitterlings here has mid once again. They do have Kit Kat does have two specials that they can try to work with to prevent the push from happening here. But Bitterling pops two, and they are now going in trying to make another push happen, and they do. They do, but they still go down. This current point, it sort of makes sense to be aggressive there if you have Cooler. I'm not so sure they had Cooler. I don't think so. Um, but so now Kit Kat is able to come back immediately with a crab and threaten to score and make their own push happen.
The Squiffer gets an insane pick on the crab there. As a push is started from the side of Kit Kat here, they're able to open the basket here. The brush is kind of pressuring the Hydra. They're going to zip in, try to get this distract, get a double here, possibly get this pick on the Squiffer, get the trade. The
Nice.
triple goes in. The clams are rushing in, and yes, Kit Kat is able to get the lead in a single push there. As more clams keep coming in, the strikes keep the pressure up. The jet goes down. Bitterling's kind of defensive special that they were using to try to push out here. The Squiffer is flanking. It goes down on for Bitterling as the basket kind of distracted them, closed the basket, prevented them from getting the blast clams that they needed to get in there. Booyah is trying to push and pressure. I believe that Bitterling still has a pity here, so we will be going into overtime. But unfortunately, we see that two, maybe three are going to be going down on the side of Bitterling here. They still have a chance here. They have the 30 seconds to cross this mid, but it's very, very green right now.
Yeah, in times like that, once one of the picks happened and then another one happened, it's really hard to play in overtime when you are one or two down. Here, they're still tried to get the power clam in, but it was just a bit too late. It was a really nice counter push there from Kit Kat. That worked out really well. They scored a lot that push. Insane.
Yeah, that was a very, very solid game and counter push there from Kit Kat. Bitterling had control of the game for most of that set there until that push, and then it was just kind of that extended push. They kept throwing clams to each other, chaining their specials. They had a very, very solid um, mixture of special usage, just kind of chaining their specials to hold that space. There was like they'd pop a zip, and then they'd pop a strikes, and then they'd pop a crab, and then they were able to just hold that space for long enough, get below the amount they needed even more, and then safely back up and hold mid and force Bitterling to go on the offensive. And with that Hydra, that slow backline, and also that Squiffer there, which needs a lot of setup and protection, um, was kind of hard for them to make that super aggressive push that they needed to take that uh, lead back in overtime.
Definitely, really, I believe the deciding factor in the victory here was honestly, I think they realized what they needed to do against the Hydra comp because Hydra was really shutting down most of their pushes back. But yeah, the Octobrush definitely had some really crazy plays there for sure. 100%.
Was definitely the MVP of this game, and I was given some extra intelligence that they went 24-6.
It was quite
Which was
insane.
a very solid performance there. As we saw, the brush was kind of the main leader there at the end when they were creating that amazing push that they had. That zip getting the triple, sort of delaying Bitterling's ability to get back in and stop that push before they were able to get the lead there. But yes, the next match we're going to be going into is Splat Zones on Mako Mart. Very cool map, very interesting map. I think that both teams have a very solid potential here with their comps here to see who's going to win this set.
Sure, for sure. I'll tell you what though, that Octobrush certainly definitely knows how to use Zip very well.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing, I believe, same comps from both teams here. Actually, the switch to Wiper Deco for the missiles here to sort of an extra tool to move the Hydra. It's going to be very interesting to see here. Those beacons are definitely going to be super pesky on Mako Mart with all of the weird terrain and different corners. that you can place them in.
Sure. Still a pretty nice comp that might work well. I'm not so sure about the Mist on Mako, but definitely the Jet will still be a very powerful pick. And Tri can play really well around the stack still, so it'll be fine still. Bitterling here takes complete control of mid, and their Hydra is perfectly set up so long as they're able to get rid of that person on bottom right.
Yeah.
They try to put down strikes and missiles to just push back Bitterling so they can take back the zone.
Yeah, very, very good use of specials there to sort of take that space back. But unfortunately, they lose the fights there. The Wiper going down, the two shooters going down, and Splash and T-Tech going down. So they're not really able to capitalize, unfortunately, off of those specials. They popped them sort of far back, and they weren't able to paint with them to cap that zone in that case. So Bitterling has no penalty, and it's just ticking down here as the Hydra pops Booyah and is getting these picks. The Zip does go down. They have strikes again, but it's just the strike user currently, as the Wiper is the only one that has just gotten back in. Splash is coming back in desperately. KitKat needs to get back in here, get some specials, try to get this push here. The bubble popped here to try to stop the missiles here, as it's just the try and
Uh,
the, I believe the Zap or the Hydra, and that is a very dominating victory from Bitterling, and I will take the set.
wow. That was really close at the end. They were so close to flipping it and making the match go on for even longer.
I do believe that the reason that they won that was the bubble from the Swiffer, blocking the missiles that were on, I believe the Falco and the Swiffer there, the Zap and the Swiffer had a lot of missiles on there, and they were tracking them into the zone. But the pop of the bubble, and bubble's very good against missiles. It only has like a 1.1 times object modifier, I believe. Sort of blocked all of that extra paint into the zone, and so the Hydra and the Tri and the Swiffer were able to just hold that zone and keep it because of that lack of extra missile paint in the zone.
Yeah, it was a really nice bubble there. It was really crucial because no matter how you slice it, if there's missiles on the zone, it's going to be pretty hard to keep it if any players are painting with it as well. So it was a really good play from the Swiffer there, and a really good plays from both teams for this entire set. It was just really good matches to watch.
For sure, it was very, very exciting to see KitKat take that game 2 back from Bitterling there. But Bitterling definitely just had that very solid play in the last set there, and unfortunately, KitKat just I believe mistimed their specials in that final set there, being mispositioned and unable to follow up on them, unfortunately. And they almost were able to get that, but once again, that crucial bubble, that MVP bubble, uh, from the Swiffer there was able to win them that set. But yeah, that's round 2. We're going to once again go on another little break here, and we will be back for round 3 of groups for From the Ink Up.
Yep.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to round 3 of From the Ink Up Week 37. We're back with a very good match here tonight. We got Midnight Blue and IRS plus Tax. This is going to be a very interesting set that we're going to be going into. We're going to be seeing Tower Control Inkblot as our first map. What do you think about that, Sato guest?
Power controlling plot. A very powering plot. Towering plot's a very even, like a notoriously even map mode that is hard to really hate. Some people love it, some people are okay with it. I'm interested to see if any blasters are going to come out, because I don't think we've seen many blasters in this tournament so far in the sets we've seen. But hopefully we see some of those. Like you said earlier, chumps are pretty strong now, and if you're able to take over their plat with chumps, like with just by using the special, that's also pretty good.
Yeah, I definitely think it could be interesting to see some blasters. I know that the main like sort of anchor blaster that people were running got a slight nerf in Rapid Pro Deco. There was a buff to Luna, which could be interesting to see here. I'm not sure exactly how substantial it is though, because Luna didn't really need an accuracy buff. There's obviously the popular just regular Rapid Deco. But we're going to be getting into this match. Let's see what they brought out.
Right, of course.
We're going to be seeing a double splash Lytra's ballpoint and a carbon deco. We're going to be seeing those chomps coming out from the side of IRS as well. A splash and a N-try.
Nice. Pretty normal comp over here for double splash ballpoint. One goes down on that team of Midnight Blue. Two go down on Midnight Blue, and the tax fraud here with the Tri-Slosher immediately goes on their plat and gets two more, and they don't even go down. They still have Cooler. A really fast push here immediately. Wow.
Yeah, IRS is a very dominating position here as they're able to, the Tri-Slosher is able to take out another player in the Lytras there. As we see the Zuka coming out from the Carbon, trying to paint and get those picks up in the bats there. The Carbon is able to catch that flanking splash as it's backing back up into mid to try to hold that space and keep that space for IRS right now.
Wow. But yeah, it's back into a rather neutral position. The chumps do come out. They can actually do something now after the buffs, and but it seems as though they're still trading pretty evenly, although IRS plus tax does go down 3, and now Midnight Blue has a chance here to potentially take back the lead if they're able to push back up on their plat as fast as IRS tax did.
Yeah. The Lytras are kind of poking up in here, trying to probably get their zip casters so that they can zip in here. However, 2 go down on the side of Midnight Blue, so I think they're going to be holding and saving that special as the Crab is almost able to get them off the side of the wall here, which is a very important position. The Tri is able to get that trade back from the splash as they're coolered up right now, probably trying to take a really aggressive position. As we see the chumps come out trying to take that plat, give that space for the Tri, but unfortunately the Tri did go down there. And so we're kind of back in this neutral position here as Midnight Blue tries to take the tower again and is unfortunately forced to back up and pop a jet.
Oh, and they do get a pick off of that as they were being challenged by the one of the splashes, or the splash on the enemy team. And now they're starting to make another push here, which is honestly fair. They do have a backline. They do find another pick, and the splash just goes in and does the usual like Inkbot thing where they go up on bats and just start wrecking havoc and making sure that the enemy team cannot stand up there, because that is a very nice spot to hold if you're pushing. And they do take the lead here, a very important lead. Past check, they're scoring some really important points here. They are going down though, so the push might be over pretty soon here, but not without some last-minute picks to see to stall their incoming push back.
Yeah, Ballpoint's going to go down on the recall there and is going to end that push as IRS pushes back into mid very fast and is able to get that paint here. The Carbon does get pinched there, taking the splash with it, but the Lytras are able to get that trade back. We do see the chumps coming out here, sort of in a closer position this time, probably going to be able to help them control that mid space there, but a Crab from Midnight Blue on one of the stacks is going to sort of kind of nullify the usage of those chumps there, as they're able to take the Midnight Blue is able to take the tower again and start pushing into those bats there, as the power of the two splashes. Unfortunately, one of those does get taken down, but we see a crab kind of at an awkward angle here. Um, on the side of Midnight Blue, as the tower sort of like slowly moves back towards mid, and they're still holding space in this plat here. So IRS really desperately needs to get them out if they were going to be unable to make another push.
Yeah, that splash has just been hanging out in their bats now for a good while here. They're going to definitely have to deal with it, especially now that's a crab. And now they are really just their prime priority should be taking care of their bats here, but then the splash rotates. They have another crab up, and the tower is getting really dangerously close to knockout here. Not sure if they're going to be able to get off the final two that are on tower, and they are not able to. That the first game goes to Midnight Blue.
Yeah, that was a very, very solid final. Sort of kind of it was kind of just a extended push from Midnight Blue. They sort of had, once they had control, they kind of had um control most of the time. There was one moment where IRS had almost taken back mid there. Unfortunately, just kind of going down to the crab on the stack, and then Midnight Blue just taking that advantage and continuing their push there. But IRS did have a very strong push at the start there, so we definitely could see this going to a game 3 to decide who does take the set.
Yeah, a very, very nice game one. For sure, these teams are pretty. They have certain qualities that make them pretty even. They're different areas, but it was a very back and forth game. There definitely was not any kind of one-sided event here. I'm really interested to see where this set could go.
Well, the set is going to be going into Rainmaker Museum here, another very open kind of map. It's going to be very interesting to see what maybe adaptions IRS makes here to see what they can do to combat Midnight Blue's just sort of standard at this point composition, and how they kind of created that elongated extended push by chaining their crabs together. Like, see, that's just kind of, it's gonna be interesting to see what adaptations they make.
For sure, because tax plus IRS. Oh, sorry, the thing is confusing me, but yeah, they definitely did something right there with the first push, because they were able to score pretty fast, like immediately. If they're able to manage to do that again and just keep a hold of it in future pushes, they could still definitely see some knockout potential here. And still take the set for sure.
Yeah. It's also gonna be interesting to see if Midnight Blue sort of kind of sticks with that comp. Crab is very, very, very strong on pretty much every map, but Museum with the open sight lengths especially. So we're gonna see right away. Yes, once again, double splash with Ballpoint and Tetra, but they're going to switch.
Stringer.
Oh, actually, no. It is Lytra again. But we're gonna be seeing a Stringer coming out from IRS, with the same Carbon, NZAP 89, and Tri-Slosher, as IRS is able to get the first pop.
The pop on Museum isn't too point worthy, and they definitely go down 3 for that. The IRS and Tax is only down 1 player, and they're going to be getting this check immediately, as they should. The Tetras go down after being cornered to their bottom right, and they're still trading back, but still, Midnight Blue's definitely going to they go down 2 more. They're going to have to definitely get them off their spinner here if they're going to be defending this spot. It's only the ballpoint up. They do have Jet, though, so they should be able to solo get rid of the Rainmaker, at least for the time being, so that they can stop them from scoring any points.
That's a very, very strong lead on Museum here. We did see it a little bit earlier, though, but the bow was playing very well off the Carbon. Sort of that buff in damage is very key. That 30 damage is an amazing combo number for a lot of weapons in this game. I'm very excited to see the bow in this match, as I think it's a very new, sort of strong backline option. Well, stronger. I thought it was a solid weapon before. We do see the whale coming out and the chumps coming out, sort of trying to allow IRS to get into mid here, as the Jet is able to take out two of them, three of them even. So unfortunately, they aren't able to use those chumps to get back into mid here, as the Zuka is going to have to come out to try to stop this push here, as the Stringer is able to trade with a Crab, and Midnight Blue is running for these points, unfortunately having to back up from the auto bomb.
Yeah, there's only well, there's like there's always just exactly one player up here, but now the one time that they had a chance here, the Stringer gets to stops them here. And there's someone flanking the Stringer, actually trying to get that crucial player out of position, so they're able to take the lead and potentially, yeah, they scored all the way down to 7. That play was huge to get the Stringer off the top right, their top right, because that was the one thing that was stopping them with especially with Toxic Mist. A really nice lead here for Midnight Blue.
Yeah, that's a very, very strong lead. That's all essentially almost a KO, especially on a museum here, as it's very kind of hard to get through that divot in the map. Yeah, the Stringer had a very, very solid plan, unfortunately disrupted by the enemy team, which was super key. The Toxic Mist plus that chip damage is what IRS seems to be playing off of, and is going to be their key to defending and taking space. But the Jet is coming out here, is going to be able to get a pick on that end zap, as the ballpoint drop rolls expertly into the Rainmaker to pick it up and try to start another push from Midnight Blue.
They are down 1. Did you find more picks, and now they're up 2 compared to the enemy team? They're able to just form another push here. Even if you don't need the points, it's still really good to push in a position like this, just to at least play for knockout and try to see if you can score any more points. The Rainmaker does go down, so the push does seem to be ended here, but definitely Midnight Blue is not giving them more space than they need to, and the splashes are playing very close to, or at least their front lines are playing very close to the edge of the zone of control, so that they don't give up too much space.
Yes, very, very expert sort of zoning from the side of Midnight Blue here. They've definitely sort of adapted from that first push, not sort of overextending into that Stringer chip damage and the carbon comboing off of it. We do see a Crab coming out here, getting a pick onto the end zap as they chain another Crab to get that mid space. There's just not a lot of purple. They're just not having a lot of opportunity to get that space in mid with the 42 seconds left in the game, as 2 go down, and it's just the carbon and the end zap left up, as the carbon goes down to an inkjet, but it was trying to pop that Zuka, trying to get some picks before it went down there, as the whale comboed with the try is able to get the Rainmaker there, and the try is able to get another pick, sort of ending Midnight Blue's push there. But IRS needs to collect themselves and get this push started soon, as they only have 12 seconds left.
For sure. The try getting those picks there is essentially what gave IRS one more chance to push in with the. Oh, there's the Zipcaster with Tetra is a very good special for that weapon, as if they're on you, then that's basically it. And that's 2-0 thus far. That is the set for Midnight Blue, but there will still be a game 3.
Yes, of course. That zip was a very expert use of that, as IRS had very solid control of mid, so the and there was some very well positioned frontliners in front of the Rain there. So the Tetris wouldn't have normally been able to get to the Rainmaker there, but with that Zipcaster, especially on Museum, there's a lot of places that you can zip to high above people. The Tetris was able to flank behind everyone, untouchable, as they sort of zipped very high into the air and dropped down on the Rain, ending the game there.
Yeah, a really, really nice Zipcaster play. A very unique thing the Zipcaster can do. I mean, Zuka can do something similar, but without line of sight, sometimes it can be pretty hard to hit that. With Tetris, it's all up to aim if you're able to position yourself right. A very
For
nice
sure.
special usage there.
Yes, for this last game, we're going to be going into Clamblitz Scorch Gorge. Once again, a map like one of Scorch's better maps, one of better modes. Obviously, there's a lot of back and forth as you sort of have the split sides to mid. You have really the only one viable push is through the ramp. As the through the going through the grading on top mid can be kind of scary for an actual push, but it's good for sort of trying to pinch and create control in the enemy's base there. What do you think we're gonna be seeing from these two teams?
Clam Scorch. This is honestly one of my favorite. This is my #1 map mode to watch because it's always really interesting. I always say it. The left and right side. It's always interesting to see how the teams divvy out their left and right side pushes, and in particular, I believe that if they, to put it quick, the backline really needs to be careful about where they position because they don't want to overcommit too hard to one side.
All right, we're gonna be seeing a end splash coming out from the side of IRS here instead of that 89 for the chumps, and we're gonna be seeing the same comp coming out from the side of Midnight Blue, that tried and true, very powerful comp with the double splash in this skirmishing tetra, and obviously the ballpoint. But the ballpoint goes down very early, probably trading with that uh, try there, as the carbon is able to get a pick there. Unfortunately, the splash on the side of IRS goes down, sort of kind of in a neutral position here, one on each side. The crab is getting some pressure into Iris's space, as it seems like Midnight Blue has very dominant control of mid right now. As the try is able to get a
Whoa.
double there, and
Nice.
the Tetras are going down, and it's 4 up on the side of IRS. This is going to be their opportunity to get this push here. With the strikes coming out as well, the carbon getting that push on the splash. They need to push up now. They need to push up fast.
For sure, they really moved in quick with that. At least the try did, and they were really setting up pretty early for that push, which worked out pretty well in their favor because now they're able to just kind of go in and then have already the paint on the left side to make it harder for them to move in. And they scored all the way down to 51, which is a really nice first push number. It's below the 60 mark. They're still trying to get some in. They got one in, and they returned back to mid to play defense.
Yeah. That try was able to get in that sneaky clam, dropping it down to 48 there, obviously, and was able to get out safely. Unfortunately, their splash does go down. The stringer, unfortunately, in a bad position kind of there, went down as well. The carbon going down as well, so it seems like it's just the try. The try does go down to the crab here, as the Zipcaster is zipping into their house, trying to distract and prevent people from pushing in, gets that pick onto the splash there, as well as this crab is sort of set up in a very strong and dominating position in their base. They're trying to get more clams, trying to get this lead here. They're currently tied. Ballpoint's in a very strong position here, but unfortunately having to run back to get more clams. They do get the one clam, well, a couple more clams to get to 39 here, but that's not a very solid lead in comparison to IRS. And now IRS has very solid control of mid here with their whale, and they're popping their strikes, and this try is set up in their house. This is very reminiscent of the first push.
Really impressive push there. They were able to automatically like score down to below 40 and even take lead with the only the first push that they did back. And but immediately IRS is already back on their on the offense here on the ramp. The lead is a decent ways away, but still not like too. There's not too much of a big difference. It's like around 16, which is it really isn't that much. Double power clam will definitely get that down, and immediately a wipeout goes down on IRS as soon as the basket is open. So now the entirety of mid is given to Midnight Blue. They have 2 specials, and they have a really strong position here to make another push happen.
Yeah, that was a very unfortunate timing for IRS there, as Midnight Blue was sort of stalling out IRS's specials there to be able to get theirs in sort of counterattack and get that push ending play there. sort of dropping them down to one player with the crab in that zip caster there. We do see that Iris is already back trying to create this clam here right now. That push back from Midnight Blue seemingly didn't really affect them that much, as they're able to sneak in with another power clam here. They do unfortunately go 3 down again, and it's just the stringer alone. So that's going to be another 1 power clam push. This isn't very um, safe for them right now, as they go 3 down and lose all of mid once again. They need to do what they just did, and not really care too much about that counter push and sort of uh, get another power clam in, but hopefully more this time.
Of course, it's a really dangerous game you're playing when you start to slowly chip down the score number, especially when the enemy team has a lot better paint than you. So as soon as you all go down, they're able to just immediately take all the paint from mid, get all the specials they need to threaten your plat. Although IRS seems to have just counter pushed really well here from the counter push that Midnight Blue did. They are able to take back the lead down to 14, even 11. They're really close to knockout here. Just about 3, like 4
Yeah,
clams should do.
yeah, Carbon's able to get out there very safely, and this is going to put Midnight Blue in an awkward situation of an overtime push. They do get that pity and that extra pity that was spawned, so they have that chance. They're popping their first crab here to try to create this space. They're trying to get that stringer out of position, as they know that stringer is very strong and has been causing them a lot of issues. The Splash is able to get that flank there. But the power clam, one of the power clams is in the hands of an inkjet that can't throw it, and
Oh,
unfortunately, that overtime ends before the recall, and the last game goes to IRS.
such a close game. That was crazy. Those teams are so close, and in the end, IRS just really pulled through, and just the power clam being in the jet. It was
Yeah,
such a crazy way to end.
yeah. It's got to be very uplifting for IRS to get that. Even though they lost the set, they did get that 1 win. They're going to be taking that, possibly going into bracket off of that 1 win there. I'm not exactly sure of their current sort of standing right now, but that's got to feel good ending on a win for them.
Of course, it's always good to go 1-2 versus 0-3. It especially makes it so that's like, okay, there's a much more to learn from close games than there is from just getting like rolled. And even like in the games that we saw, they were making some really strong pushes from both teams. The only thing is in the Scorch game, the pushes from IRS were rather weak. Or no, yeah, the IRS were rather weak until the last one, where they really picked it back up and made one last really strong push to get themselves the lead and make sure that they don't go 0-3.
Yeah, of course. I definitely think that um, they're strong showings from both teams here. It's going to be really exciting to see where they go um, into bracket tonight. If they do go into bracket, obviously I don't know the thing. But speaking of bracket, we're going to go on break. We'll be back for bracket. We're going to be commentating one more set after this, and then we're going to be handing it off to the other commentators. But we'll talk a little bit more uh, when we start round 1 of gold bracket. See you then.
So yeah. Hello and welcome back to From the Ink Up Week 37. We are now in the gold bracket, and we are going to be spectating the match of Diamond Rays versus Low Quality.
It's going to be a very, very awesome set. Obviously, they had to get a 3-round wins to get into this gold bracket, so these are all excellent teams in this bracket tonight. Map mode wise, we're going to be seeing Splat Zone's Umami as our first map. What are your thoughts?
Splat Zone's Umami, a map mode that I didn't know that I would be kind of interested to watch. I don't know too much about what either of these two teams could possibly run, but I know that in Zone's Umami, there's just a high potential for snowballing your pushes, and it's really hard to get out of your base if you don't know exactly where to push from and how to use your special. Which, it goes for a lot of maps, but particularly Umami, it's hard to get out and sneak around because of the lack of flank routes.
For sure. I definitely think that Splatoon's Umami is an interesting map. It's probably the best double zone map that we have right now. With the sort of long zones divided by the top mid part area there. It's kind of a very flat map. There's not a lot of super high points compared to super low points. Very good for weapons with long sight lines, like Splatanas are very good at capping the zone together. C-Jet as a backline, Ballpoint obviously, covering that space with those long zones. Very useful items. We're going to be seeing what they're going to be bringing as we go into this set now.
For sure, midlines are very strong here.
Alright, we're going to be seeing a T-Tech, Wiper, V-Try, and a ZNF Charger from the side of Low Quality, and from the side of Diamond Rays, we're going to be seeing an N-Splash, Machine, Wiper, and V-Splash, a backlineless comp.
Interesting. We're seeing a jet with backline comp versus comp without either of those two. Let's see how this pans out here. There's already 3 down on Low Quality is 3 down, and their backline gets pushed pretty far back in their base. They definitely want to stay alive here to see if they can pay for their special. That would be crucial in taking back their base here. They do have a jet that they might be able to push in with here, try and get rid of them, but no. The jet goes down. They trade back, and they are now pushing back into the zone. and they have somewhat of an advantage here to see if they can stop the score from happening.
Yeah, they're definitely 1-1 now. They're able to retake their one zone, but the Wiper unfortunately does go down to the combination of the Machine and one of the splashes here. Machine is also a interesting pick. It used to super dominate the game. We haven't been seeing it as much though, due to those shot nerfs. So it's very interesting to see here this Machine sort of playing off of everyone else very very well here. Able to get a pick on the Tri Slosher, able to get another pick onto the T-Tech here. They're having a very dominating control of low qualities of space. As you can see, green all the way up into their base here. But the zones are surprisingly almost kind of half. But it doesn't really matter when low quality cannot get access to the zones due to Diamond Ray's very dominating control there, and they're able to get a very quick KO and take game one.
Wow. So they played so fast back into their base that no one went back to paint the zone, which is honestly a fair play. It's just funny to see. Yeah, at the end, the zones were really just half.
Yeah, it was kind of if low quality would have been able to break through that amazing offense there, they probably would have been able to easily cap the zones there with the way that the zones were already in sort of a neutral position. But unfortunately, they weren't able to crack through the super powerful offense there from that backline this comp. They did sort of have that slower sort of charger there, and with on Umami with like not a lot of sort of like safe positions for a slower backline to stand. I definitely think that's what that sort of got them in trouble there.
For sure. Not too many places to stand, and not too many places to safely pop their tri strikes. And unlike certain things like ballpoint, the special just does not complement the type of places that you want to stand to use the special. I already know how you feel about Sturgeon, but what do you think about them playing Sturgeon TC on this next game here?
Sturgeon TC is a interesting map. Uh, definitely has a lot of the same qualities of Sturgeon Rainmaker. You don't have that interesting left side option though, as the tower has a very obviously rigid path. You can sort of try to pinch their court using the left side sort of ramp, but it's not as impactful as sort of taking that left side route. I think especially on this more than Rainmaker, taking their snipe, the enemy snipe is such a key position to be able to get that tower path through, because snipe is one of the best places to contest power. Window is also going the space right in front of the tower on that first checkpoint is also going to be a very important space to sort of have locked down. You don't have to be in there yet because you would have to go up the ramp and kind of around the corner to get there, but you can sort of pressure it with like buckets, rollers, other sort of weapons that are good over ledges. But we'll see what they're going to be bringing here, and we'll be seeing how low quality adapts to Diamond Ray's very aggressive comp. They reply with an E leader, and I believe a end try this time, with the cooler going to help them go a little bit faster. From the side of Diamond Rays, we're going to be seeing a Rapid Pro. It's going to be kind of an anchor, but more of a faster anchor with that Inkjet 2, able to really play off the team um, a lot easier. As we can see here, that Torp combo able to get a pick onto the shot there and trying to pressure the leader as they back up. They're able to get this jump here very easily as the try goes down to that, and the Wiper is going to start getting set up and pushing in with this jet here.
Yeah, very very fast push. They're definitely taking massive advantage of what they can here. The specials do come out, the specials that they need to stop this push potentially. It doesn't seem as though they go 3 down, and it is now only the leader. And as you said, the snipe was taken, and then now they need to take top right so that they can make this final push here. Low quality is in a bit of a pickle here if they don't. They do have one numbers. They do have one player up versus the enemy team, and that should be enough here if they're able to properly play well off of it and just try and get the people that are threatening their left side here. Oh, and then
But
they were not able
unfortunately,
to.
that is another fast dominating KO from the Diamond Rays. Low quality really just didn't have a way to get their footing. That E leader, they probably are a dedicated Charger player, and that's something that sometimes you just have to um, suffer with. If you have someone that plays super aggressively, you have to be able to hit your shots and have your teammates back you up. And unfortunately, low Diamond Ray's offense was too overwhelming for low quality there. Um, and they lose the set to Diamond Rays. Diamond Rays obviously with an amazing dominating victory there. Uh, that is going to be it for this set. We're going to be going into round two of bracket, but we're not going to be here. We're going to have some other commentators take our place. So I'm just going to say where you can find me. I'm Fire Corgi. You can find me on Twitter at Fire Corgi and most other social media. Twitch is Fire Corgi with an extra one at the end. But yeah, where can they find you?
You can find me basically anywhere with the @Cytogast. Discord, of course, it's lowercase. Twitter is normal. Cytogast live on Twitch, but basically Cytogast everywhere. Hope you enjoyed the sets as much as we did. It was really fun watching these teams play. I hope you enjoy the rest of the gold bracket. This could be really interesting.
Yeah, make sure y'all stick around. I know that was a very fast set, so it's going to be a little bit longer till we get to round two here. But thank you for coming to From the Ink Up Week 37. We're going to be back soon with some new commentators. See you soon.
See ya.
What's up, gamers? We're here. We're getting ready for round 2 of Gold Bracket here tonight, and from the Ink Up Week 37. My name is Toma. I'm going to be one of your commentators for this final part of our top cut, and I'm joined by Weef. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I wish I could say I'm doing PG Keen, but it is a little bit stressful right now. I'm moving, I've had some hard weeks, I'm ready to watch some really fun matches as well. You can let some stress out, watch some Platoon, you know how it is, so... right now we're going to be opening up with a pretty strong matchup. We got Storm in a Teacup versus Wipeout.
Yeah, two teams that we've seen quite a bit here in FTIU battling it out to see who's going to be making it to that semifinals, trying to keep their dreams alive here tonight. And we're going to be starting, Weef, on Clam Blitz Museum. Tell me a little bit about this map. What do you like about it? What don't you like? What do the teams need to do to be able to find a victory here in Game 1?
Well, to put it bluntly, it's my favorite map mode in the game. It looks like we're gonna getting into it almost immediately, but there's just a lot to like about it. It's very it's open, but there's opportunities for weapons that are more short range to also prosper here. There's many routes onto plat. It's kind of it's really fun endeavor to go from mid to controlling that plat, and that is the biggest thing here is getting from mid and starting to work your way up to plat, and then getting past that spinner is also a really hard thing to both defend and to progress forwards. And it looks already though like picks are going out 2 down on that pink team, 3 down. It's already looking pretty good for, I believe, Storm in a Teacup.
Yeah, Wipeout almost wiping out there as Storm in the Teacup gets a early advantage here. You can already see they're pushed up onto this plat. A power clam is made right there underneath the basket. They just need to be able to find that space to get forward and get it. Looks like getting that machine may help, but they aren't going to be able to reach it quite in time. But they still have 2 down on Wipeout. J Splat kind of making a move here to try to get up, see what they can do. They're going to be guiding another power clam in on their way to Kojuk on this great inkjet, and that is the full wipe onto Wipeout. Going to be allowing them to dunk a whole bunch of clams here as we're spinning back and forth between each clam basket weave.
Wiggles aside, we see some really awesome play from Storm and Teacup here, doing a fantastic job at staggering the enemy team, and even though that their push is over, they're still maintaining a lot of mid control. The Tetris goes in and gets taken out by the Wiper, and we see Storm and Teacup still here on mid. I think from a lot of the Slayers here on Storm and Teacup, we've been seeing a lot of cautious aggression where they're moving forward, but they know they're not really overcommitting. They know exactly when to back up and when to commit, which has been so great to see, and that's what got to that first push. It looks like Wipeout may be starting to get a little bit of a breakthrough, but with the Tetris going down once again, using their Zipcaster in the process, it's looking pretty rough as J-Splat over here is moving once again and worming their way onto the enemy plat once more.
Yeah, they're just going to be able to get up here, pop this Ink Zuka. Again, you know, freshly buffed, by the way, from this last patch. And they try to find that break, but they're not going to be quite able to do it. The delayed wipe coming in on Storm in the Teacup. This is going to be Wipeout's opportunity to start going forward, gathering some space in mid, but they have to take that space quick. You can see that Storm in the Teacup is already back out, but Wipeout really doesn't yet have control of mid. This Inkjet's going to come out and try to find a pick to get that fight going in their favor, but not quite going to be able to do so. Going to land and be taken out by the other ballpoint Splatling on the other side, and we can already see Storm in a Teacup moving up into this aggressive position again. Got an Inkjet of their own out now, trying to take these fights, and just like you said before, they know exactly when they need to apply this pressure. They're trying to do so here, but going 2 down, it may be an opportunity where they have to sit here and wait for some jumps to be able to come back in to start fighting again.
Yeah, it looks like they are having an opportunity to push up a little more. Stews over here on these Tetras doing a really good job at getting picks and just doing a lot of distraction, allowing their teammates to get a double, and that's almost a full wipe, but there's only that ballpoint left alive. And this is starting to look a little bit scary for Storm and Teacup. Even though 2 members are down on the side of Wipeout, they have that Bio Bomb, they have the chance to get jumps in, and even though the machine gets taken out, it looks like mid is pretty solidly in Wipeout's favor right now.
Yeah, but as soon as you say that, too, it looks like they're going to be going ahead and flipping that advantage, taking the Inkjet that went right out of their sails. There's a hammer coming in. We've going to find one, doesn't quite find that jump. A trade going out now, 2 down on both sides, make that 3, though, as that power clam is going to connect. A second power clam is going to go through, too, bringing Storm into Teacup's lead down to 35 remaining. Their force here, Weef, is just unrelenting, and now they're going to be setting up for this defense as Wipeout's going to be trying to push into their base.
Yeah, Wipeout has plenty of specials to make this work. However, they are starting to go down, and Storm and Teacup is not relenting on the aggression. Once again, not really overcommitting, but still keeping the pressure up, not laying back and letting Wipeout take any space whatsoever. A lot going in their favor right now, as they almost have the opportunity to get another push in. It looks like they actually are going to make it until the ballpoint is going to bail out. That buys them just a little bit of time, but it does give Wipeout another pity clam that will hopefully for them activate overtime as we're approaching the last 30 seconds of this game.
Yeah, just absolutely brilliant presence there from the side of Storm and a Teacup. Now a lot of pressure on Wipeout to be able to get out here. They have 2 balls and they're having that fight in mid, but now we've the full wipe. You hate to see that in this moment, and Storm and a Teacup's gonna be taking advantage of that. You already see their Wiper player pushing forward, trying to pressure Steez, but I believe Steez gets the pick there, falls down to the ball point, and now it's just kind of a bloodbath there as a Wipeout is trying to find their footing. 5 seconds remaining. They're going to be trying to get overtime going, but they have to get a power clam. I think that they still have 1 up, and it looks like they do. They're able to pick that up, keep themselves alive. But Weef, there's so much paint here that they're going to have to work through to get to Storm in a Teacup's basket, and they're going through it. You've got Kento here on this slosher moving forward. They're finding the picks. They got 3 there, Weef, but it's just not going to be fast enough. Storm and a Teacup gonna take that first game.
I say all the time, but Clamblitz overtime has to be one of the most brutal situations you can be in this game. One of the most hopeless. I mean, you do occasionally see teams take it out. Oh, awesome. You do occasionally see teams take out some really surprise pushes from behind from, in a situation like that, but it is so rough. When overtime starts, you already basically have to be in mid and only have to work your way forward because you only have 20 seconds. You need all your specials to get past, and unless a miracle happens, it's really rough to even get to the basket, let alone sustain something long enough to get a massive lead like that back.
Yeah, it can be really, really rough there. And you saw even then, they got the picks, but there just wasn't enough time left on that clock to be able to get the power clam to the basket. And we had a little bit of a fun DC on our end screen, so didn't get to quite see them any fist bumps or whatever. But I suppose better after the match than during the match, right?
Yeah.
But that being said, right now, Wipeout, they're gonna be looking here at their second map to keep them alive here in this set, keep their hopes alive, and that is gonna be on Splat Zones, Barnacle, and Dime, one of our new maps of this season, and it can be a pretty tough one. It's one of those ones where if you can push up past that zone, get it capped, and then just kind of live in your opponent's base, there can be some really, really hard times trying to break back out. It's a super lockout heavy map, Weef.
Yeah, for sure. And coordination is the name of the game here. And Storm and Teacup has been really coordinated. Wipeout, not quite there. You see a lot of their specials go out slightly staggered, not really taken advantage of. And that is something that is going to be huge if they're going to be able to, if they want to set up those lockouts or get out of those lockouts if it ends up not going in their favor. Of course, that first opening team fight is going to be a big thing. And Steez on those Tetras was doing a really good job helping out in those kind of team fights. But it really is just about getting those first few picks and then progressing from there.
Absolutely, and I think that definitely, Steez there can be a really key player here. It can be kind of one of those things, if you can get that Tetra in that zone really fast, they can find some clean picks going in early to the game. Sometimes all it takes is that early wipe to be able to get the setup to hold through the rest of the game. Because, with Splat Zones, it's not one of those objectives that's going to be moving. You don't have to, force something up into the opponent's base. So you can kind of hold it, fall back when when needed and then push back once you have some jumps in, once you got people who've come down, able to get back in. So it's really important to kind of look out for those things. Really pay attention to how these opening fights are gonna go, because with a map that can be so snowbally and lockout heavy, it's gonna matter a lot. I'm not gonna say that obviously, you know, if you win the first fights that you win the game, but you can definitely set up in a good position to have a really strong first push. And I mean, I have seen it come down to sometimes you just get that push and it's just over from there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's not. Zones is certainly an interesting case. Like, in theory, you should think like tower control with this insane passive special advantage is going to be more snowbally. But like, really, when the map is designed like this, it's so hard to get back in, and there's no real pressure to overextend. You can just kind of sit on your heels and wait and paint and build up specials and build up a nice level, like, advantage playing field for your team that the other team is going to have to then push into. And that's kind of my issue with a lot of zones maps in that regard. We do see some community discussion about how zones is tricky right now, especially because there's so many specials that it can insta-cap the zone now, though. You got Reef Slider and the newly buffed Inkvac that really just can kind of invalidate a push and add a really fat penalty on for some teams.
Absolutely. I mean, when are we gonna see the patch next season? We're gonna see, you know, a crab tank painting buff, and we're gonna see, you know,
please don't
big bubbler gonna paint itself. You know, saw some really silly fake patch notes going around about that, but they have been buffing special weapon paint like crazy. And the kind of zones play that I've seen with Inkvac, really, you know, a low tier special before, I would say. It's kind of one of those things, I think it got really overhyped when we started going into Splatoon 3. We saw it coming out, we're like, this is gonna be awesome. You're gonna be able to like escort the Rainmaker, no one's gonna be able to kill you, you're gonna just be able to hold the zone for free. And it turned out to be a little bit underwhelming to what people thought it was gonna be. So seeing this paint output increase on it, really, really nice, but definitely in a mode like zones can be super cheesy.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see, you know, if Inkvac is as good on zones as people are claiming that it's gonna be, or at least cheesy. I think we might see some V Big Swig play coming out. I'm just saying, its stocks might potentially be going up, and I'm surprised nobody's talked about it, because the main thing that was holding it back in the past was that Inkvac, and I mean the wall as well. But it's amazing painter, and I can see it being so obnoxious if that vac is as good as people say it is.
Absolutely, and that as well, I want to mention another one that I think could be really interesting is Vanilla Jet's Vulture. Kind of very in the shadow of C-Jet until now, when it really has its opportunity to be able to shine. I think I actually saw Dude make a video on it earlier on Twitter. First of all, it's got that buffed angle or marker, point marker, whatever it's called, that can shoot, is now just like a giant, you know, very, very long burst bomb that's just gonna do 40 damage to you if it hits you, which can be super duper scary. And now the Inkvac 2, both that and Big Swig, I'm really interested to see what's gonna be coming out of those two weapons. And I've always been, you know, we both know this, an off-meta enjoyer. You see the crabs, you see the inkjets, the ball points, the splashes, whatever coming out, but I always live to see that odd choice coming out from a team. So I'm really excited to see, you know, potentially will we see this in this set, will we see it later in the night, or just in general, maybe not even hear it from the Ink Up tonight, but just kind of a shift in attitudes towards these weapons in the community in general.
Yeah. In order for that to happen, people have to take the first steps, and like it can be, I can imagine, terrifying to take one of those really cheesy off-meta picks, like a VJet, like a Big Swig into tournament. But like if it works, it works. And there, I know, are a lot of one tricks that are like just waiting, lying dormant like a crocodile in a river, waiting for their weapon to become meta, and they'll just absolutely dominate. I fear for the day that like some of these weird picks just suddenly get buffed to the moon, and like dually sculptures, like when that weapon actually becomes relevant, there's gonna be so many players that are just, you know, dominating. It's always a fun time. They're like, even in upper mid level, you see like roller one tricks making things work. it's so fun. Like blaster one tricks as well. You'll see success from that, and like once their weapons become good, it's over for all of us, I fear.
Yeah, I mean, look at like Anarchy Nova, for example. Like after last season, I mean,
Oh,
there was the talk of the opening Gambit Vanilla Nova last season, and people like played with it for a little while, and they were like, no, we're not touching that. But then you release Anarchy Nova, and it's just able to spam so many jokes. I would have never thought last season. You're like, oh, Nova's actually meta. People are actually going to be using that unironically, and it just comes out of nowhere. I've been playing it myself, and it's so much fun.
Yeah, no, I remember one of my teammates was playing Anarchy Nova for a while, and of course, because I play Ballpoint, and Ballpoint is in a lot of ways the better fits the niche of Jet spam a little bit better. We ended up dropping it, but it was still so fun to see her just prosper on that thing. It's hilarious. I play it in open occasionally just because it's a fun little brain dead shooter, but like, man, it's so fun to see weird picks win. Bloblobber got a paint buff, and I've seen some people like cheering and who are really ready for that weapon to get a little bit more love.
I mean, we just saw Bloblobber win in low ink weave, so can't blame
I wasn't able
those.
to watch any of it, so.
Oh well, spoiler alert, I guess. But yeah, we saw Bloblobber win on low ink, so that was a lot of fun to see.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, I wish I saw that. Dang.
Yeah, rewatch that VOD. I promise you, it goes to a game 7. It'll be well worth your time. So much fun. Also, I mean, while we're just talking about weapons, we got time to kill here while we're waiting to get them back into this lobby. But the bow buffs, I'm gonna talk about this because huge bow fan here. I know you've played
Shaking
it as
your
well
hand.
before. We love that bow. The strafe speed on it feels so good, and the new damage, the buff damage from the pellets, being able to just pass through 2 of them and then get the kill with the explosion, it feels so good. It feels so much more consistent.
Yeah, I can imagine, like, the main issue with bow was that it just didn't have the kill power. It was an anchor without, or, backline without any of the things that a backline really wants to do. It had the long-range pressure, but it just did not have the ability. Like, you want a backline weapon to be able to, if you're in a 4v1 situation, you want to be at least able to threaten a little bit, and you could just rush down a bow in a lot of situations. And this gives it that, yeah, like you said, that needed consistency and a little bit more pressure, so people aren't as happy to go approach a bow because they know that it's a little more dangerous now, which certainly helps.
Yeah, excited to see how it works out. Played it in some tryouts with my team after the latest patch, and it was really fun. So we'll see, who from there we pick up and see if we can work it into some little comps, and you can see Cheer Cold cooking in the future with that, because I always love to bring on the fun off meta. Not to from the ink up. We won't be here, unfortunately, but elsewhere. But gosh, I'm just ready. I'm waiting to see what they're going to be bringing in here. It looks like they're about to be getting in. Their 4th has finally rejoined this lobby here. I'm seeing in this chat. And I'm ready to see what they come back, what they're going to be bringing into this game. I know, really looking, I believe they had the Wiper there and these Tetras, these really 2 aggressive options that I'm going to be looking at. And the Wiper in particular, too. Because that's just going to have a lot of pressure, especially in the spawn. Being able to sit on those ledges and kind of poke over them and keep those ledge camps is going to be really, really important. The Tetras can do similar. It can't quite poke as well over the ledges, but it's still got that super forward pressure. If it gets up on that left-hand side and can just roll over the glass, then, it doesn't even need a ledge camp. It's just going to go straight into your base.
Yeah, there's so many great weapons right now in this meta. So people will like claim that this meta is really stale, but it's, there's a lot of things that people are making work right now, and all of it's really exciting. Like, there will always be weapons that are on top, but it's whether or not they're fun to play and fun to watch that really matters. And this meta right now is so fast paced. It's exactly what people are wanting, and so I'm glad we actually have a nice, healthy meta, but we're seeing an E-Leader right now, which has always been solid in this game, but we'll see how it fares against Wipeout's Ballpoint.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think that it's definitely a strong pick here in Barnacle and Dime. It can reach over a lot of this area, of course, and Splatoon 3 maps, just wide open areas. E-Leader is able to look over a lot of it in general, but it can definitely struggle against Ballpoint, especially those Jets. And we're going to see that right now. Storm in a teacup, they're going to be pushing forward, getting a great positioning going now. You've got Kajuk on that stack there, trying to set up. You've got the Zuka coming out as well from J-Splat. They're going to be moving up there with their Wiper player, trying to find some more picks. They've got 2 down on to wipe out Weef, and they're not going to be relenting. They're going to be staying up here, trying to keep as much pressure. You see that Wipeout has that cooler out in the Jet now. They're going to be trying to push back in. J-Splat accidentally squid rolls off the side, but there's still 2 down on both sides. This isn't over yet for Storm and a Teacup. They're still keeping this lockout going. They're going to drop the Booyah Bomb, try to force them out, but they've got to get control of this zone, and there's still Storm and a Teacup members here, Weef.
J-Schlatt went for a little bit of a swim, but yeah, it really did not matter at all because they had that leader to keep up the pressure, to get the jumps in, and it looks like that Wipeout doesn't even have time to paint the zone at all. A very, very fast, I like to say, blink and you miss it game. Storm and a Teacup taking this set 2-0.
Damn, and that's what I said, if you get in here, you cop that zone. Sometimes, not every time, but sometimes that can be it. If you can just push up there, get in their base, you can end it in the very first push. And Storm in a Teacup showing us an excellent job of what that looks like. That kind of unrelenting pressure is exactly what you need on this map, and it kind of just goes to show what you were talking about before. They know exactly when they need to push in, when they need to back up, and they did it perfectly. You saw them go 2 down, they kind of backed up for a little bit, they got players in with those beacons of theirs. We were able to come back around and just pincer the team. It was so excellently played.
Yeah, it is hard to think of a way they could have played that better, to be honest. Even with the little slip-ups, like, even when they went 2 down, they played it out excellently, not letting up too much. Like, a big mistake you can see at lower levels is when they go 2 down, they don't recognize the context of, like, when they still have advantage, even if they aren't at a numbers advantage. So, really cool to see them keep up that pressure and maintain it and not even drop a single point, basically, there, except for a little bit at the beginning.
Absolutely. And it looks like we aren't going to have to be stalling for long, because I have refreshed my page here. I can see that on the other side of our bracket waiting us, we're going to be seeing the return of the Diamond Rays, and they're going to be facing off against Grizzco Workers Union in our semi-finals match. I'm so excited to see what is going to be going on here. These are 2 teams that have come far. They have competed in so many FTIUs, having gold run after gold run. They're definitely 2 fan favorites.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, isn't Grizzco Workers Union also a CCA team? If I'm thinking of the right people, which is you always love to see the CCA teams win, or like succeed. It's so fun, just the spirit that comes from it, knowing that like these teams in the colleges are kind of making little waves and having fun and getting to know each other, all that good stuff. Really.
I'm like running to Discord right now to do some like investigating. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
Grizzco
Normally
Worker Union. I'm like, okay, I got Krona here. Let me see. Let me look at our mutual servers. Like, gonna do a little bit of spying, and it looks like Krona is there. In the Cephalopod or Collegiate Cephalopod Association, it does look like Grizzco Workers Union is a collegiate team, and Diamond Rays. Let's see.
Diamond Rays, yes, I forgot what team it was. I think they were out of California.
Okay, let's see, So, Diamond Rays right here. Let's look at our mutual servers and see what
this is the kind of stuff that we do on our breaks.
IVC, but I don't know what that team is, IVC, but that is, they are in the collegiate. I'm gonna Google it right now. Let's see, IVC College. Let's look. Irvine Valley College, it says. I don't know if that's true, but
I believe it is. Should be.
Yeah. California, yeah. Okay, Cool.
We've got a CCA. We've got the CCA at home, and it's the stream right now.
DRF would be so proud of us to see this going on right now, and I'm excited to see this matchup. These are two teams that have really been pushing Diamond Rays. I remember back when they were a little bit more of an inconsistent team. We'd kind of see them down in our bronze, see them in our silver brackets, and they've been working themselves up to really get to these consistent gold brackets. I've seen them time and time again come here, and Grizzco Workers Union in general is a team I feel like has been making a really great name for themselves in the low-level scene. We've seen great runs here in FTIU, LSL, Low Inc. They're definitely a team that's on people's radar.
Like you said, you love to see the CCA teams winning. It's, like I said, it's making DRF proud over here with all the work that they put in. Super fun, and like great players come out of this. I've seen, actually, I think I've casted both of these guys in the CCA, and those matches are always super fun to watch. Something about the CCA, like they love to run weird comps, and that is always a blast to watch. I'm excited to see what we see out of here.
Yeah, I'm excited. I don't think Diamond Rays are in this month's Low Inc, but I'm looking at Grizzco Workers Union. They actually made it to Gamma bracket on day 2, 9th place there. Going down to Arcadia, who is a very well-known Low-Inc team. Usually a Low-Inc top 32 contender, so it was a little bit surprising to see them there in Gamma bracket. Them going down there, not too much of a surprise, but 9th place Gamma is a really strong finish, especially for an FTIU team, as we're looking at, alpha bracket teams here, banned. Beta, top 8, so that's half a beta bracket, banned. So your Gamma bracket teams in Low-Inc kind of are the top end of what we're looking for in quality here at FTIU. Yeah,
100%. So it's an interesting matchup for sure. I'm excited, and I don't remember what these guys run, but like I said, it's going to be interesting when you start seeing CCA teams out here. Just the CCA was also like has a philosophy of running weird maps, and I feel like that might be the culture, is just saying hell to the mess and hell to whatever the rest of the scene is doing. We kind of do our own thing.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know what they run to. I'm gonna be surprised just as much as you are. I think when you commentate as much as us two, it can be a little bit of a struggle to remember, because I don't know about you, if I see so many teams, and I'm like, at the end of the day, I would go crazy if I had to remember what every single player played. But I don't think it should be that much longer before we get ready and get into this game. They should be joining up in this lobby and getting started in it here pretty soon. But let's see if there we go. I was just about to grab the map, see if we could talk about that, but we're loading into it here on Rainmaker Sturgeon Shipyard. And boy, is that the VJet? That's the VJet! That's what I was just talking about!
Not the mode we expected to see it on, but I mean, it's kind of bringing us back to, day 1 Splatoon, where it's like ink background Rainmaker is what you want when you're running, and I can definitely see the merits of it still. It's difficult to use, but if these teams can execute it properly, it's going to be awesome. Or do we see the Tetra Duelists diving in, trying to get a pick, and they do get one, but they do go down themselves. It looks like it's a 1v1 situation, and we're going to have to see which will win, the long range or the short range. And currently, this Jet Squelcher is doing a pretty good job at holding down the fort in mid and getting jumps in for their teammates.
Yeah, here Mario trying to go in and get the pick for Grizzco Workers Union, but not quite able to do so. Kind of just trading members on both teams. This Crab Tank going to come out for Diamond Rays, but is ultimately going to go down, and we just keep seeing splat after splat being traded. Neither team really able to make too much ground off of it yet. We've Shabby and the Wiper player over here going to be making a move, seeing if they can get some pressure going here on to Grizzco Workers Union, who's already got this back popped out. They've got the Rainmaker in their control. They're going to be making that first push, but they're going to be dropped right here at the start of this, this block where the jump happens. They're not going to be able to get too much further, and now just this Jet left alive is going to give Diamond Rays some space to try to get a push in.
Yeah, the Tetris tries to lead players out into left court, but unfortunately gets picked off pretty early. And now, all juiced up, it looks like it's time for Diamond Rays to make themselves a push here. Already approaching that lead and taking it with a little bit despair, still going on. The vac comes out from the enemy team, though, and kind of stifles their pushes a little bit, but it is only one player left alive. It's only that NZAP left alive, and so they are going to be trying to pop juice, but unfortunately, that little bit of time that they wasted did lose in that team fight, and is going to allow, not quite Diamond Rays to get the checkpoint, but really, really close. Grisco Workers Union gets a nice wipe and a big old reset for them to try to hopefully make a good counter push.
Yeah, it looks like Corona's going to already go ahead and pick that up. They do have the left side painted here, but it's already going to face contention there from that sloshing machine. Neptune going to be dropping down. They're going to lose the Rainmaker here on this right-hand side as you see that ink back pop go off. It does pop the Rainmaker. You've got that Reef Slider going forward. You're going to have space for Grisco Workers Union to try to be able to get here and make the push, and they're going to be able to take the lead and break through that first checkpoint. We've now 2 down on the side of Diamond Rays. You're going to see this cooler come out. They're going to be ready to take these team fights, trying to get as many points on the board as they possibly can. Not quite able to make that jump. That would have been a lot of points on the side of Grisco Workers Union, but that can be a game-winning push potentially here. This is one of those maps where it doesn't usually go too far past the checkpoint.
Yeah, you saw the difference between those two pushes there between Diamond Rays and Grisco Workers Union was Grisco Workers Union was able to secure the area in front of that checkpoint. They weren't just trying to go for it, and that is what got them the check in the end and allowed them to push even faster. But Diamond Rays looks like they're having their second shot here. BJ on the left side trying to stifle that fire, but it looks like the checkpoint is going to be broken, and now it's really just up to them to keep on getting these picks. It's going to be 3 down on the side of Grisco Workers Union. That cooler is going to go out. Pop is going to go to the Diamond Rays, and they are going to be able to secure it forward. Now, though, they did not, unfortunately, wait for their teammates to go in front, and so that is going to be the push over. However, the splash over here is holding on for just a little bit longer, trying to get some teammates, and all 4 members are back and ready to keep going, but the Rainmaker is reset.
Yeah, now they're going to have to back up and pick that up. And, good that they reset it there, too, because they went down to 1 number, and you don't want to leave it on your side of the map unpopped if that is the scenario you find yourself in. The Wipe are going to be moving in, finds a nice pick with that hammer. Going to be trying to find another, but goes down to Mario there, who's going to be in a great position to try to stop this Rainmaker potentially, but goes down to the Rainmaker itself. Neptune picking out that Booyah Bomb, going to be sneaking around to see if they can kind of keep an eye on this Rainmaker being popped. They pop out that Zuka, but are killed while they're holding it by the NZAP. Shabby here painting around, trying to get some points for this Tacticooler for their push. They picked up the Rainmaker. Their cooler is going to be given juice to that Rainmaker. They're going to go forward, find a pick onto the opposing NZAP, but once again, they don't have the space in front of the Rainmaker right now, and you've got this Ink Vac, out as well to kind of just suck up those specials, suck up that crab tank that the Diamond Rays is firing at them, and it kind of forces them back all that way. Neptune able to find an additional 2 picks off of it. The full wipeout. They're going to pick this up. They're going to run it on this left-hand side. This bridge is coming down, but no, they fall. They don't make that jump. They're just going to try to hold on to it. 10 seconds left remaining. They're going to be just holding here. Counting this down. 3, 2, 1, and they lose the Rainmaker right at the buzzer. Isn't going to be enough time to give Diamond Rays the overtime.
Yeah, a very, very close game there, but Grisco Workers Union was just a little more coordinated, got a few more wipes out, and so they were, in the end, able to push it just a little bit further, but it could have been a very tense situation there at the end if that Rainmaker got killed just a few seconds earlier. Being really, really risky from GW, from, keeping that Rainmaker pushed really far forward, even though they could have basically ran it back super far and kept it nice and safe, but they did opt to keep it in mid and kind of push it a little bit forward with it, which is an interesting play for sure. Oh no, Toma's Discord exploded. I have to stall now. My voice hurts. Hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, overall, very, very good match, and I'm excited to see more from it. The V-Jet was actually a very valuable choice. It's a backline without some of the disadvantages of backline. It has really strong paint. It can move. It's a lot more mobile than something like an E-liter, but it has. It's hard to explain its advantages. And that vacuum, it really is just kind of a counter special now. It counters Inkjet. If you're in the right spot, sometimes the Inkjets can just get right behind you and AOE to death, and not as easy anymore. It can counter those crabs. It can suck up entire booyah bombs. I'm guessing now it probably would be like okay against chumps, which you might be starting to see a resurgence. It's something that, we might be seeing kind of return to the former glory of what people thought it would be at the beginning.
Okay, and I am back from my Discord exploding on me, so didn't get to really hear what was going on there at the end, but I know we are going to be gearing up for a game 2 here. We've in semifinals, and this is going to be best of 5 going forward, so not quite as much pressure on the line. You don't necessarily want it to go 2-0, but you're not going to be quite out just by letting another game slip here. Clam Blitz on Manta Maria is going to be the next map we're turning our eyes to, and this is a fan favorite of mine specifically because I'm a Splatling. I love Splatlings. I've got these really fun masks to work off, and I've got the new Kraken on that deco. The heavy deco that I love to work with. We're going to be seeing what these teams bring out to the fight, though. I'll be interested to see if that weapon comes out. Maybe not quite, but we 96? Do see another Kraken coming out at that 96. And on the side of Grisco Workers Union, a little bit of shifts there. We're bringing at that ballpoint a little bit more traditional from what we would expect on a map like this. I'm really excited to see. I'm really excited to see if Diamond Rays can capitalize off these Krakens and get some good jumps in with power clams.
It's Clam Blitz. It's always going to be a good time, but yeah, I'm excited to see how these teams face out. Already we have a big team fight in mid that Manta is pretty conducive to. A lot of fighting above and below, up and down and around, and just it seems like it's going to be pick for pick, player for player. Neither team really scraping out a huge advantage here, but with the crab tank that is going out en masse, it looks like that might be shifting, but still, Tetra's getting picks from behind. Once again, massive bloodbath in mid.
Yeah, and as me and Saf always say, it's just a bit of team deathmatch until you can get your, clam economy built up and you get the right picks to move in. And that's exactly what's happening here right now. There is Co-Workers Union going 2 down again, but finding a pick now onto the Diamond Rays. Just fight after fight, trade after trade coming down on both sides, the 96 and the Tetra trading there. Then they're going to just come back up, and just as fast as they went down. They really don't have the space yet to be able to make a push. You've got now, though, finally a first opportunity for Diamond Rays. They're in here, but they don't have the jump in with their clam. Their clam actually went down to Neptune here on Grisco Worker Union, and now Grisco has that power clam online, the opportunity to make a push here, but they go 2 down as well. Mario, they're trying to survive with the Kraken, but they're gonna fully wipe. Gonna give Diamond Rays the opportunity. They've got to move fast. Userless is there. They just need to juggle some clams right underneath this basket.
It's at this point we see why these teams have both made it this far, why these teams are so evenly matched, and that's just because they just seem like they're mirroring each other almost perfectly. Finally, we do see a single clam go in on the side of Diamond Rays to Grisco Workers Union, but it didn't last long. The defense from Grisco Workers Union was exactly what they needed to just stifle them out just long enough to make sure that push wasn't substantiated, and now it looks like it's Grisco Workers Union time to push in, going in with the Zuka with the Inkjet. They have all the clams that they need, plenty, and they just have to get in just a little bit more. They don't need too much to take that lead back, but the goal, they're trying to aim higher. But with 2 players being down right now, it looks like that may not happen when they want it to.
No, these teams are just trading members back and forth so fast. It can be really hard to keep up with, right after we say something else will happen. And it's like, there's so much to talk about going on as these kind of scrappy team fights happen. And, they're both playing so aggressively. There's not really a lot of passive play happening. And that's why we're seeing these fast trades. We're seeing these really fast switches of man advantages. And right now it's going to be the opportunity for Grisco Workers Union with that wipe happening, but they don't have the power clams in their favor, and that's the thing, right? You can get all the people down you want, but if the clam economy is not in your favor, there's not a whole lot you can do about it. The power clam is not going to be able to make its way to basket, and it's going to force Grisco Workers Unit back again. They're going to have to go back to the drawing board here, figure out how to get some more clams, and try to figure out what they're going to do to break Diamond Rays defenses. This has been a single power clam game so far, and we're almost to 1 minute remaining. Like, the defense on both of these teams is impeccable.
Yeah, but the onus is on Grisco Working Union to go ahead and try to get that one last push in here. They may not have a lot of time left, but it is certainly enough to get the ball rolling. But it looks like Diamond Rays here, they have some specials starting to get ready over here. Going to be able to take out that jet, which is absolutely huge. That's a lot of Grisco Working Union with the triple going out. That's a lot of their aggression completely gone, and with only a minute left in the game, that is a delayed quad here, going into a quint here as that Tetris jumps in and is immediately taken out, and it is starting to look rough. Like I said earlier, Clan Blitz overtime is not something you want to get into, and as Diamond Rays just keeps on going in and is tossing clams over and over and over, getting that score down all the way to 40, and they still have the numbers advantage in their favor. They may not, the members of Diamond Rays keep on, or the Grisco Working Union keep on flooding in, but they have the crab, they have the hammer, they have every tool that, at their disposal to keep them at bay, and they are still getting picks. The push may be over, but they are just making a taller and taller hill for Grisco Workers Union to climb for them to take that lead back.
Yeah, and that's kind of the push I was talking about at the beginning. I'm like, when you're waiting for that clam economy and the man advantage to be in your favor, that was the exact moment. This was the first real push of the game that we've seen. And, it ended with 15 seconds left here in this game. So it's going to be a lot of pressure onto Grisco Workers Union. They're going to have to get that power clam. They're going to have to get a whole lot of clams here as overtime starts ticking. But they're already 2 down. They have that power clam in their hands, but that's it. Oh, just the power clamp. They're gonna have to find a lot more to be able to take it here. And right now they're just struggling to break out into mid. Soap here gonna get the drop onto Krona, trying to hit the pick, but it doesn't even matter, because that clam is not going to get to the basket in time. And that was just one of those games of, wow, just stalemate pretty much the entire game until in that last minute, Diamond Rays was really able to find their path to break in.
It was like watching a match of Jenga where each team was trying to take out a single piece at a time, and then all of a sudden it just came crashing down on Grisco's Workers Union, and their grave was made at that point. It was a really impressive push from Diamond Rays, and that makes things a little bit more interesting. Grisco Workers Union came out the first game looking extremely strong, and I was really starting to favor them in terms of my own personal predictions of how the set was going to go, but Diamond Rays definitely surprised with how much better that they were able to match the aggression that Grisco's Workers Union presented.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited to see. This is one of those great sets. I want to see games go to a game 5 in our semis and our grands, and this is one that I can definitely see going there. These teams are so evenly matched. They play so well together, and they're able to take advantage of kind of the openings that they create for each other, but at the same time you've got them ready there on defense. And Manta is one of those hard maps that can be really tough for defense too, because if they kind of break through your street and they get into your base, it can be game over. But we saw those teams not allowing that to happen for so long, and it's surprising to me. That's not typically how you see a game of Manta clams go. So I'm very pleasantly surprised. But we're gonna be getting ready to go now into Splat Zone's Brine Water. So it's definitely not gonna be one of those situations where we see that you're gonna have a timer ticking. It's not gonna be a 0-point game the whole time like we saw before. And this is one of those ones too where that aggression can really pay off. Once you get around that elbow, you have a straight shot up into the enemy base, and if you can just kind of get up there, I'm looking at those Tetras, I'm looking at the Wiper, I'm looking at any super aggro frontline weapon, it can spell disaster.
I can see the V-Jet being pulled out here again. We saw round 1 on Rainmaker, and this is a map where you might want to push it. This is kind of ballpoint paradise, and being able to counter that Inkjet just a little bit is going to help. But also, you're going to be able to instantly cap the zone if you have a full charge, which is going to be so valuable. So if there's ever a time and a place to run that V-Jet, it is here and now, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's going to be here. It can cap that zone in no time. And this is just a good C-Jet map, or a jet map in general. I say C-Jet because I typically play C-Jet here, before the VAC buff came out. So I'm really interested to see if they'll bring that out. I don't know really if the ballpoint was doing what they needed it to in that last game. I think that the extra paint from that jet, the little bit of extra maneuverability, being able to move fast and be able to shoot again fast is just kind of the shooter movement, as you know, shooter privilege in this game, might pay off just a little bit better for Grizz Co-workers Union. We're going to see, but actually they're opting to bring out the Explosher. Instead, they're running double bucket. They're going to run double the Explosher and the Vanilla bucket. And that's really interesting because these ledges with buckets poking up at them can be really dangerous.
Yeah, this is going to be an absolute nightmare for the enemy team to deal with, and you can already kind of see that as these picks go out, it's looking like it's going to be a little bit like what we saw last match, where there's just pick after pick after pick after pick with neither team in full advantage. We do see quite a few specials pop out here. From the side of that beautiful purple team, I believe that is...
Co-workers Union.
Yeah, Grizz Co-workers Union. We saw the tactical lure come out, which is going to help them really recover after they get pushed out a little bit by Diamond Rays, but Diamond Rays already is kind of getting set up here, which is going to be super difficult. Already getting the picks with the hammer. Wiper is going to go down here, but it does buy a lot of time for them to get back in.
Absolutely, but look at there at that Slosher doing a great job keeping pressure. They do trade out, but you know, it stalls the zone, gives more time for Grizz Co-workers Union to try to work through that penalty. But with this Booyah Bomb coming out, it looks like Diamond Rays may be able to retake control of this zone. They've got this hammer out, got a beautiful double, gonna be moving forward here. There is the triple moving, trying to the full wipe, a little bit of a delayed wipe there. This is a great situation for Diamond Rays. They just need to keep this pressure going. This is the kind of lockout situation you want to get yourself into.
Can we talk about how beautiful that was? The Booyah Bomb to funnel the teammates forward right into the Ultra Hammer. Absolutely gorgeous, and they are, you know, reaping the benefits of that right now, keeping their specials. And even though the zone does go down, looks like they did get a little bit more of a lead off of that, and that 96 Cal is going to get a double for their efforts, buying themselves a little bit more time to move back in, while their team, the enemy team, Diamond Rays over here, is going to be starting to tick down that timer more and more.
No, actually, it's Grizz Co-workers Union here now going to be able to swap this lead. No, where it happens, especially with this back and forth, it can be so hard to keep track of both teams, and that is going to be a delayed wipe now onto Grizz Co-workers Union as Diamond Ray is going to be setting up here. And 25, not a bad penalty to have to work through, but you don't want to go 3 down. Grizz Co-workers Union going to be quickly swapping that man advantage. The full wipe going to be going on to Diamond Rays, and now you've got Grizz Co-workers Union once again trying to see if they can extend this lead. Not a lot of penalty to work through, but they've got to be careful. So much chip damage coming out from the side of Diamond Rays, but they're able to expertly get the 3 down. Just that machine left up. They're eating through their penalty, and now they're able to extend their lead here. Diamond Rays have to find their way back in, but you don't do it by going down there in your base.
Yeah, now this is thing where things are starting to get extremely hairy. This Explosher is set up to the point where they can pressure a lot of the map. The cooler is out, and so they can take risk as much as they want and just be right back lickety split. The timer, though, does get reset from the Kraken and from the other players, and it looks like Diamond Rays are back in the running here. They are not quite out of the game yet, and even though they have just over a minute and a half left, they are making a very explosive push here. Already we see this Wiper all the way up in their base, tagging along with the machine and just putting a lot of pressure and making it damn near impossible for Grizz Co-workers Union to exit with that crab tank and everything else stacking up in their favor. There's about 10 points until this lead switches, and Grizz Co-workers Union is 2 down. The picks keep on coming. We are incredibly close to seeing this lead swap, and if they keep on going, a potential KO, but the zone is starting to be contested, and that is the lead swap.
Yes, it is Weave, but now, right here, it looks like the zone is going to be neutralized. Once again, the full wipe onto Diamond Rays. It's going to give Grizz Co-workers Union their hope to stay alive in this game. And I'm so excited to see if we're going to see another lockout situation here. They've already found a pick on that Wiper. They found another pick, that Zuka, potentially huge here, Weave. They just need to keep this lockout going, but they go down there just to all that pressure from these torpedoes. They've got this juice online to try to help them get back in fast if they go down, and they're going to need to, especially with Diamond Race capping this zone right as they were about to be able to extend points onto their score. 3 down now on Grizzco Workers Union. This is such a back and forth game. I'm absolutely living for this.
Yeah, no, my nails are bitten down into little stubs right now. The beautiful pick from the Slosher onto that hammer, which could have potentially been devastating. Now the Slosher is going for another one on that left side, trying to get the pick, trying to get any advantage in their favor as we are going to be approaching overtime. Not much time left on the timer. The zone timer ticks down so fast. They are 2 down, but the shot gets the beautiful double with the Zuka. They're trying their best to just rush at the zone to try to capture it in a last effort, but the shot is going in and distracting them, and the zone is neutralized, but there's not going to be enough as they go 3 down, and Grizzco's Workers Union gets a very, very tense win, taking the set to 2-1.
I have, like, this is one of the craziest sets I think I've seen in all of FTIU. This has been so close. We just see them trading back and forth. The gameplay is so fast, that I'm saying something and then something else will happen and it derails my complete train of thought, and then I'm just mumbling garbage into the microphone because I don't even know what I'm talking about at that point, because the thing I just said is now totally irrelevant because something else has just happened and completely flipped the game on its head.
You'd never expect you get that kind of tense game out of Zone's Brian Runner, let me tell you. A map that gets kind of a bad rap, it can lead to some really tense moments like we just saw over there. Of course, the teams are running some really nice comps, really, I feel fight each other in a very entertaining way. The Expo, you love to see it, was doing a ton of work. The 96 Gal, which you don't see a lot of here in the West, putting in a ton of work. Just every single weapon just interacts in such a fun way, and these guys are extremely close in skill level, but whoever takes us home is going to be 100% deserved to go into that finals.
Yeah, and it would absolutely be criminal not to give a shout out to Neptune here. Absolutely going to be the MVP for keeping it locked down there for Grizzco Workers Union. That Trizuka multiple times getting key doubles, and I don't know if you noticed it there, but that final push, getting a pick onto the 96 Gal right as they were about to transform into Kraken. They were about to pop that Kraken. That Kraken has been key for Diamond Rays to flip the zone time and time again. So they got that Zuka out right at the perfect time, turned around, looked further up the ramp, got a second pick. That double just game winning for Grizzco Workers Union.
Yeah, no, there's just been so many really clutch moments with specials in that game. Some really beautiful Booyah Bombs and hammers and Krakens and all of the wonderful things. I think there's a little bit of confusion in chat. This is a best of 5, so we're going to keep going. We have potentially 2 more games here to see who takes it out on top, and I would absolutely not be surprised if we took this to a game 5. No doubt in my mind whatsoever.
No, I mean, honestly, maybe I'm a little bit biased here, but I'm always gonna say this. I always want to go to a game 5, game 7, game 9, whatever the final game is. I always want to take it there because I think it's exhilarating. It's exhilarating for us as commentators. It's exhilarating for our audience and for the teams as well, to just know that you're fighting opponents that are that evenly matched with you, that you've brought it down to the final game. All the cards are on the line, and it comes winning or losing the set. Comes down to that one game, can be huge. And now we're going to be loading in, seeing what they're bringing to the table, and we just see switch after switch coming out from both of these teams, and we're actually seeing them both switch onto that rapid deco.
I see the vision here. It is tower control. Blasters are going to be pretty good here. And you've got the inkjet. Even though, it has a slightly lower inkjet output than it... Never mind. That was the wrong weapon that got nerfed. Never mind. I don't know why I keep thinking that. It's the Deco that got nerfed, not the Vanilla Pro. But already, once again, pick for pick, tit for tat. These teams are really struggling to get any advantages over each other. We do see Orange team over here. I believe this is Diamond Rays take the lead and keep on going, but it's still really scrappy over here. You have teammates focused on what's behind them instead of what's in front of them, and they do break the checkpoint. But we see a really nice duel between Jet v Blaster action over there, and now it's a 2v2, and looks like that push is finally going to be over with that Rapid Blaster Pro deck Pro. You know what I mean, jumping out.
I know exactly what you mean.
There's so many of them.
You know the inkjet blaster, the only one that there is in the game right now. So now once we get more, maybe there will be a little bit of an issue then. But right now we know exactly which one it is, and right now we're gonna see Grizzco Workers Union making an attempt at this second checkpoint. They're gonna be first checkpoint, and they're gonna be able to take the lead here, trying to push to the second if they can. But it looks like they're gonna be stalled out here. The first checkpoint does fall, and they may be able to keep up this pressure. Again, that Zuka, just key play after key play. Neptune getting a nice pick there as well to keep this tower going. Going to be going forward into the base of Diamond Rays before eventually going down. It looks like Grizzco Workers Union going to be able to extend this lead here, but they need to get space forward here on this plat of Diamond Rays to really clear the second checkpoint. The second checkpoint is super duper vital, and this Inkjet may be key in clearing that for them. It looks like though it's going to fall.
Whoa.
They're going to be pushed back. They're going to kind of run away from that encroaching tower as Diamond Rays is finding some pressure here in mid once again.
Yeah, that blaster that was able to get quite a lot done before eventually going down, though. Teammates trying to file in, and it looks like Neptune. It seems like every time that Neptune gets focused on, there's always something crazy going on. Looks like, once again, though, we're kind of in a pseudo-neutral state where there's a lot going on. There's a lot of paint everywhere. Just a lot of individual team fights that are just going on, and whoever takes the victory in those has been the one to do the next push. And it looks like finally here, Diamond Rays might be starting to get a push of their own going to hopefully rival Grizzco Workers Union's very strong push of their own.
Yeah, they're going to be trying to here, and they definitely have quite a lot to push through, but they do have 2 down right now on Grizzco Workers Union. They have an opportunity to make this work. They're going to be trying to take out Mario, are able to do so successfully. Shabby finding a great pick there, going to be allowing their teams to move in. They're very close to these tri-strikes as well, which will be key to clearing this area up here that you kind of see Soap hovering around right now. They're going to be throwing those tri-strikes, yep, exactly around there, exactly where they need to be. Going to be clearing that first checkpoint. Now the pressure is going to be able to move on to the second. If they can get through that second checkpoint, could be huge, but just Shabby left up. The full wipeout onto Diamond Rays is going to be giving Grizzco Workers Union their opportunity to get back in here and try to get this tower pushing back again to that second checkpoint.
And so the Jenga Tower falls yet again, and Grizzco Workers Union is on the upper foot yet again. Neptune getting some pressure out from those Zukas and then going in and getting a trade, leading to a 2-down situation on the side of the Diamond Rays. However, they trade back for once more a really nice trade. But Krona over there doing a fantastic job of controlling the bats, which is the exact area you want to be controlling. And now it's only Soap left alive, who is going to jump back, and this gives Grizzco Workers Union full reign over this area. They need to clear out bats, which they're doing excellently with the jet. And once the jet is recalled, the blaster can just poke over and AoE anyone to death up there. Zuka as well, going for the 1 pick, gets the double, and that is through that last checkpoint. They are approaching the 3rd checkpoint, and this is where things start to get dangerous.
Yeah, Neptune, huge plays there again on the side of Grizzco Workers Union. They've been key in ensuring success here on Grizzco Workers Union's pushes. And here they're going to be trying once again to get back in, but Diamond Rays going to be able to stop it with 8 remaining. But look at this, all this space forward, and they need to get on this tower. They can't let it just ride back to middle. Somebody's got to be on it for overtime. Looks like Shabby is going to be taking up that role, but you've already got 2 down now on the side of Diamond Rays. They're going to be pushing in on that tower very soon, trying to see if they can force them off. Going to be getting the full wipe there, our delayed wipe, and going to be able to wrap this up. That's going to be the 3-1 victory for Grizzco Workers Union, who've just punched their ticket to Grand Finals.
And the Rapid Blaster Deco is glitching off on the tower. As always, I love this game and all of its jank. It's part of the charm. So, what a deserved victory. Every single game was a struggle for these guys, and they were just able to make it out on top, which is so fantastic to see. And I'm going to be excited to follow these guys through the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, I am so excited to see what's going to be going on. And we see on the other side of our bracket, actually, Storm and a Teacup taking the 3-0 win over Scarlet Fizzy. So 3-0 win there, 3-1 win for Grizzco Workers Union. And this is going to be Storm and a Teacup versus Grizzco Workers. Huge teams. We've seen them on both sides of this bracket here tonight. I'm very excited to see how this goes.
For sure. However, my voice is very tired. I think we're due for a short break potentially. No, actually, no, we probably not. No, never mind. I die. I die every single day and break into a million pieces.
Wow. You know, just one more set to power through here, Weave. So hopefully, you know, won't be too long, but you know, never know. We see how these teams have fought, so they very well could be taking it all the way to a game 5 here as we get them set up here in this lobby, getting ready. It looks like actually, you know what? It looks like Grizzco's Workers Union requesting just a minute. So we actually may be able to cut to a quick break, and we'll get right back in here once they're in the lobby. So that way we don't kill Weave's voice here on stream tonight for everybody.
Go.
Okay, well, welcome back, everybody. We're here with our grand final set. We've got Grizzco Workers Union versus Storm in a Teacup. Once again, I am Toma, and I am joined by my great friend Weave, who we've getting a little bit of a break since chat seems to want them dead.
You all hate me. You hate me all you so much. I am like a Tomogachi that you guys just leave in the rain, sad and tired and lonely and voiceless as well. But we are going to be going back into a fantastic match. Grizzco's Workers Union, who are the absolute goats, who we just saw take some really tight games, and Storm and a Teacup, who we saw a little bit earlier on stream, who did excellently as well. So by all accounts, it's going to be a close one.
Yeah, definitely will. It's going to be starting out on a map mode we just saw a little bit earlier. Splat and Zones, Barnacle, and Dime. A really aggressive lockout map mode. Very excited to see what's going to be going on here from both of these teams. I believe it was we saw Storm and a Teacup there take a commanding victory back then in round 2 of brackets. So we'll see if they can have a little bit of a repeat there, or if Grizzco Workers Union going to be bringing it back. These are two teams we've seen that can have a lot of aggression to them, and that's going to be stuff that's definitely needed. And I'm looking specifically now too at the 2 buckets we saw. We saw 2 buckets from Grisco Workers Union out on spot zones at Brine Water. Those buckets can be really, really good here in Barnacle and Dime, and could be the key for them because they do play a little bit slower than Storm in a Teacup, but it could give them that opportunity to lock out.
And we do see the return of the leader, but the bucket player, at least one of them, is opting to run instead a reflux, is going to be super interesting. A lot of displacement, which is going to be really, really handy when trying to deal with that leader who can have such a devastating impact on the state of the game, slowing things down quite a bit for any advances that they're trying to do. And already, though, Grisco Workers Union is going to be advancing fast, and with that leader out of the way, going to be able to start taking that first score and advancing it to around the 75-point mark, and it looks like they might even be able to continue going with these specials going out.
Yeah, it looks like those tri-strikes going to cap. They're going to be trying to move forward. Puma here does get a nice pick, though, gets a double. But now, just I believe that leader left up. The Viper is going to be jumping in. This timer is going to tick down even further on the side of Grisco Workers Union as they try to build back up some specials and get some paint down here on the zone to be able to hold onto it, which they're able to do. Neptune, once again, of course, in a great position here, almost to that, very clutch Zuka that they keep bringing out time and time again. But we do see a Zuka on the side of Storm and a Teacup as well. They're going to be holding onto this zone for just long enough. Neptune going to find a pick there with that Trizuka, but isn't going to be quite able to hold on to the zone. Finally, Grisco Workers Union first push going to be brought to an end at 24. Huge opening push, but we've seen how this game can snowball when you get control of the zone and you move in front of it. We can see if Storm and a Teacup is going to create a repeat that game that we saw in bracket round 2.
Yeah, right now they need those missiles, they need that cooler, they need all the specials that they can get to get that E-leader out of the way, because once that leader is set up, it's going to be hell on earth to get them out, and there's the tri-strikes going out. But the lead is they're rapidly approaching losing that lead here, with the leader still watching over the zone like a hawk, with the Viper pushing up still, with going 2 down, only that reflex left alive who is rapidly backing up and then gets picked off. It looks like this lead is almost surely going to the side of Storm and Teacup, who is going to continue to hold it, and I don't even know if they have enough time to make it back.
No, it's going to be really rough here to try to break back out. They're going to have to move fast, but they're trying to make an attempt at it. Going down, though, Storm and a Teacup going to get that, initial kind of locked out, kind of have to fight their way back out, but use their specials to their advantage, able to get back in. Key players looking there at that E-leader, looking at J-Splat on that shot, just providing that aggression that Storm and the Teacup has, able to get back into that game and clutch it up right when they needed to.
Yeah, it's definitely, really super impressive. Like the rebound, the mental energy that it takes to go back after you face like certain death at like such a terrible lockout. It can be really demoralizing to be pushed down to 20 points right off the bat. It's really hard, but they kept at it and they kept going, and they were handsomely rewarded. Now they have a nice little cushion, making sure that they're not just gonna get completely swept if they do decide to I don't know where I'm going with that. What?
It happens sometimes. Sometimes I'll say something and I'm like, what was I saying?
They got a little
here?
bit of
Like,
they can rest a little bit easier going through that, knowing that they have the first advantage. That's kind of where I was going. I don't know.
It's all good. We're gonna be rolling on here to game 2, staying alive here. Tower control, Mako Mark, and this is gonna be one of those games. You can't just go forward into the enemy base. You've got to wait for that tower. If you push too far ahead of it, you create space for the enemy team to get in between you and get to that tower rider. So you kind of want to stick in front of them, just in the space right in front of that tower, be able to protect it. So, that fast-paced comp on the side of Storm and a Teacup may have to slow down a little bit here to keep them, their footing in this game. Grisco Workers Union, however, on the other time, has had a really good time on tower control, on Rainmaker, these modes where they kind of have to clear the area right in front of the objective, they do really a great job sticking together and playing in that as a team around certain areas of the map, as opposed to kind of just like the general area of splat zones where you just the objective is go forward. This is a lot more centered, gives them a lot better area to focus on and work around.
For sure. And it's also, you know, if they do opt to run those sloshers, they are going to be having a pretty good time here. Mako Mart is a slosher paradise, slosher playground, whatever you want to call it. And it looks like we are going to see a slightly more aggressive comp over here from Storm Teacup, trading out for a nice, beautiful ballpoint, a personal favorite of mine. And we do see Frosta over there on that V-Slosh, who I'm sure those tri-checks are going to be really handy, as well as just the sheer pressure that that main weapon can put out.
Absolutely, seeing how these opening moments play as these teams go for the tower. They have one down on both sides currently as these fights are breaking out. Two down now on both sides as you just see these trades kind of happen back and forth. It looks like the Wiper player there from Storm and Teacup going to be able to create some good advantage for them going forward. Finding one there now onto Grisco Workers Union, and the turning around on the stack, just that in-zap left up on the side of Grisco. Gonna give Storm and a Teacup their first opportunity to break through this first checkpoint, and they're gonna be able to find it. But Storm and a Teacup there already behind. You see that slosher coming, putting that pressure on J-Splat, forcing them forward. But you know, it isn't over until it's over. J-Splat gonna be finding a way in here, getting a trade onto Krona, and the rest of Grisco Workers Union working tirelessly to flush out Storm and a Teacup. That is the full wipe, gonna give them the opportunity to make their first break at this checkpoint now.
You know, J-Sweat has been playing extremely well, but y'all need to stop being so weird in chat about them. But we are going to see, yeah, Grisco Workers Union buying themselves some time and space to push up just a little bit now, approaching that first checkpoint. We see Koakarp over here on the right side, who's going to be able to take out that Tetris during the reslider with a beautiful hammer. And it looks like they are going to be taken out fully with a complete wipe before they can even break that first checkpoint.
Yeah, chat not a big fan of being called out, it seems, right now. They think they're normal. We'll let them believe what they want to believe, I guess, but moving forward, we see here Puma throwing that tactical lure down. They've got a man advantage right now over Grisco Workers Union, but it looks like they're the slosher very quickly trying to turn that around, and they are able to do so, getting 3 down, finding the pressure onto that ballpoint as well, and now moving forward onto the stacks. Going to give an opportunity once again for Grisco Workers Union, but they need to get forward. They need to get their members up. They're going to be fighting J-Splat. They're able to take them out, but they've got to watch out for the Inkjet now from Kojuk. Going to be picking out their Tetra Dually player as the tower kind of cruises over there to the first checkpoint, but doesn't look like they're going to be able to break it. Kojuk now moving in, seeing the person over here on the right, going to be firing at them, forcing them to back up. Grisco Workers Union is really right now just struggling to get that setup they need to be able to find the break of the first checkpoint.
Yeah, for sure. And it really is a difficulty. They're really seeming like to have their trouble like digging their heels, and they've been having a lot of opportunities. They had a lot of situations where the Storm and Teacup has gone down, but there's a lot that goes into actually taking advantage of that. And right now, Storm and Teacup is doing such a good job at making sure that they're keeping them super suppressed. That's a complete wipeout, and that is going to be that second checkpoint essentially cleared. I don't even know if Grisco's Workers Union has the time to go ahead and just get over there. Looks like they're just trying to rush at the tower desperately. As that third checkpoint is there, they do get wiped out though, buying Grisco's Workers Union perhaps one last chance to push in this, as we have a minute and a half left in this match.
Yeah, and we really need to see Grisco Workers Union get in front of that tower. But you know, a wipeout, not the way to do that right now. I think the key difference we're seeing here, you know, once they get up to this first checkpoint, you see members of Storm and a Teacup jumping across that gap and getting into the base of Grisco Workers Union. We're not really seeing that replicated when Grisco Workers Union is pushing, and they're not, as a result, able to really get the space that they need to be able to get that break and push it further. other. So right now, they just really need to try to flush out Storm in a Teacup, get control of mid, use that to farm their specials, and then just put a lot of pressure into the spawn of Storm in a Teacup. But it's gonna be a tall order, especially right now when you've still got members in your base. This Wiper just putting up constant pressure, gonna finally go down to Neptune there. Kojuk fighting it out, but then realizing they're in a bad situation, jumping out, gonna be good for them to be able to keep whatever points towards special they had there. A very wise decision from that backline. And you see now Grisco Workers Union kind of just burning through these specials to gain space. They're going to be burning through those tri-strikes to be able to get towards tower, but it leaves them nothing in the tank right now for the push.
Yeah, super unfortunate from them, and we are just going to keep on going, and that is going to be a wipeout from Grisco Working Union onto Storm and Teacup, which is going to be their one last shot to get on here. The NZAP is going to be riding the tower, hopefully trying to get all those specials, because they're going to need them to keep Storm and a Teacup at bay. Bombs being tossed at the tower, there's everything going, and they do finally break that third checkpoint. The cooler is going to be trying to use as a shield. Nobody is on the tower right now. Puma is going for it, but is currently locked a little bit under it. And finally, one more player left on the tower, but as they all rush towards it, they all go down, and that's going to be Storm and a Teacup taking the game.
Oh, goodness. That is one of those games that's just intense. Grisco Workers Union did a great job on getting those stops, but not quite able to find that forward pressure that Storm and a Teacup had. And right now, I think that's kind of, you're seeing the key difference there right now. I talked about it a little bit earlier, but on the side of Storm and the Teacup, they're definitely the faster paced team. And right now, if you're Grisco Workers Union, you've really got to find a way to match that speed. You've either got to find a way to match that speed, or you've got to have enough paint to be able to slow Storm and a Teacup down. And right now, I don't think that comp with those sloshers has enough paint output, so you've just got to move faster.
Yeah, God, Storm and Teacups, like, they use cooler so extremely well, it's making it difficult to even match that play. When we saw the ballpoint jump out at one point, they had their tactical on, they were just able to jump out so fast and be right back in the action in like 2 seconds. It was that fast, and so that's one of the reasons why I feel like Grisco's Workers Union was really struggling to, like, when they had those 3-man situations, when they had those 4-man down situations, where they were just struggling to capitalize on it because they were back so fast, and so they barely even had time to make a game plan and go in and execute it before they were already being assaulted yet again.
Yeah, absolutely. But now we're in a tricky situation. We're set up. This is tournament point for Storm and a Teacup. We're going to be going into, fun fact, my personal favorite map in the game, Rainmaker Undertow Spillway. And this, again, can be a really fast-paced map. It can be determined by who just gets there first, who can push through that uninkable area first, who has the most speed. So we've seen time and time again that Storm and a Teacup has a lot of speed. So I'm looking at you, Grisco Workers Union. You've got to speed up that comp. I'm here for y'all. I want this to go all the way to a Game 5. I want to see that fun 2-2 pressure. You've got to get it going here to beat Storm and the Teacup.
Yeah. God, like you said, I can also see this going in their favor, but it is going to be a hard climb. Do they got that dog in them? I think they got that dog in them. Neptune, we saw do a lot in the last match, but are they, have they met their match finally? We'll see. It's, Rainmaker Undertow is, I am Rainmaker's #1 hater. I am Undertow's #1 hater. When you combine the two, I don't exactly have a good time, but I can kind of see what it's cooking occasionally. It's interesting. It's a big old choke point. Mid's awkward to fight in, but I guess if that's your cup of tea, you do you, man.
Well, you see, speech bubble tri-stringer. So that is the most explanation I can give of to why I think this is the best map in the game. And my opinion is based because I am Toma, so that is my evidence I submit to the jury. But yeah, like you said, this very well could be a tricky situation. Storm and a Teacup has been playing so well tonight. They're showing us why they're here in Grands. They're taking a very commanding 2-0, putting themselves up in a great situation. So right now, all that pressure on Grisco Workers Union. I do want to say though, those sloshers that they bring out, this is the map for them. If you're gonna have a slosher map, this is another really solid slosher map. And it's going to be a great opportunity for you to use those sloshers. Looking at Kojuk, their backline, whether on ballpoint or on E-leader, wherever they set up on those grates on the right-hand side on glass, you've got to be looking at them. You've got to slosh up there. That's a great opportunity. But actually, you know, for as much as this is a slosher map, we're not seeing a slosher come out.
We are, you get it, we're not seeing the slasher come out because we're seeing that Nautilus, which I mean is a pretty good choice in my opinion against the really fast-paced style of Storm and Teacup. That Nautilus is going to be so good at walling out areas and making it so they can't advance as easily, basically a mini anchor. And so we do already see a lot of players go down, but two members of, I believe, Storm, or that's going to be Grisco Working Union going 3 down, giving Storm and Teacup a fantastic opportunity to just dive for this left checkpoint and get some really nice early points.
Absolutely, you know, that's what you want to do on this map. You've got that tacticaler out too. We've going to be popping this. This is going to be their opportunity to put some extra points here on the board, creating a lot of pressure there with the Rainmaker, exactly where they need to be looking, where the members of Grisco Workers Union are going to be approaching on this side. They're going to be forcing it through this glass area, able to get it down to 22 before Frosta gets in there with a nice stop. But you've got this ballpoint out. You're gonna got this Rainmaker potentially getting popped. Frosta finding a nice pick on to Puma there. That's gonna give Grisco Workers Union their opportunity to reset that. They've obviously got to pop it now and just make sure that they don't have anybody sneak in. It looks like they're actually gonna opt to pick it up, drop it off the edge of the map. They don't want to take any risks with Storm and a Teacup sneakily finding their way into their base. And now this Wiper though, you know, kind of going 3 down there is going to give Storm and a Teacup an opportunity to move forward. Yeah, I believe is a twerp there, finding a pick onto Frosta, now throwing this hammer, finding a pick onto Miss L there as well. Now you've got Storm and a Teacup in control of this Rainmaker, and they are just putting this forward pressure. They're refusing to relent. This Wiper getting pick after pick here, just really bringing this push together for Storm and a Teacup. The Rainmaker moving forward. They've got to watch this right-hand side where they're coming across grates. One has dropped down. They don't quite get it any further, but look at this now. It's going to be the opportunity for Grisco Workers Union. If that ballpoint didn't get the sneaky inkjet kill behind and provide some jumps in, we're seeing Storm and the Teacup just refusing to relent.
Yeah, no, this is the confidence that not dropping a single game this tournament so far gives you. These guys essentially feel like they're just doing a victory lap, and so they're playing extremely fast. They're playing extremely confident, and the confidence really translates to skill. They know what they're doing. They're not playing half-assed. They are really committing to whatever they're doing. Their aim is, their mechanics are all nice and warmed up, and they are, you know, it really is showing it how just fast and confident they're playing, and so they're going to do that. We see them, you know, they are at a disadvantage right now. It looks like Grisco's Working Union is starting to move their way up, but they are still calm. They're still collectively, you know, using their specials to regain advantage here, and as soon as, you know, Grisco's Working Union starts to advance a little bit further, these guys are already back getting picks, collapsing on the enemy team. It looks like they might even try to pick up the Rainmaker here in a second.
Yeah, J-Spot there, and I thought that they were going to just let it reset after they didn't pick it up, but it looks like a member of their team able to get in just in time. They do pick down one. They're going to be looking at trying to pick out Mario, who's rushing that Rainmaker down, but to no avail. Neptune now there standing as one of the last hopes for Grisco Workers Union goes down as well. Mario's trying to rush in, getting picked off by that Rainmaker, and you just see right now Storm and a Teacup holding this in a great spot. They're kind of using that pressure over this you know, ledge right there, shooting up and over, trying to create as much pressure with this Rainmaker. And right now, you know, they don't even need a KO. If they can just hold this in the base of Grisco Workers Union, anytime they bleed off the pluck is time that Grisco Workers Union isn't going to be able to make a counter push. And Grisco Workers Union has a long way to go right now. They still have to break that first checkpoint and then get past 22. So definitely a tall order, definitely possible, but they've got a long road ahead of them.
For sure, for sure. It's Rainmaker. It's not over until it's over, but with only Neptune left alive, who is going to jump out, they do have that Zuka at their disposal, which could be huge in trying to stop a further push. the Rainmaker is reset, but it's basically, you see how yellow mid is. It basically went just right into the hands of Storm and Teacup yet again, and for them to just keep on pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing is not going to save any room for Grisco's Working Union to breathe, for them to get their specials, for them to coordinate and try to get something together as they move closer and closer to the Rainmaker. Neptune, with the clutch Zuka play, does stop it a few points away from KOing. However, they are still there. They're still approaching. They're still getting the picks, still getting jumps, and it looks like they're just trying to desperately run for the Rainmaker. Miss L takes a last-ditch effort at picking it up. We are going to be seeing overtime here as Storm and Teacup goes 3 down. Is Grisco Working Union going to be able to buy themselves a few more games, or is it going to end here? We will see in the next few seconds.
It has to be a Hail Mary from here from Weave. It was all the way at the end podium for them, and they're being forced back here. They're getting the don't retreat. The Viper is coming on. They survive to see another fight, but they have to get the dunk on pedestal before this Rainmaker explodes. The Inzap's the only one left. They just need to hold forward here. They need to be able to get this in time before they explode. They're approaching this checkpoint. They're going to be trying to swim up it, not able to do so quite yet, but they're able to break that checkpoint. That's going to be good for them to stay alive potentially, but they have to stay up. Just the Tetris left up. They're not going to be able to hold this, and that's going to be the game. We saw a great push there on the left-hand side. If they were just, maybe had a special, if they maybe had that Zuka able to pop, could have seen a little bit of a different story, but the cards fall how they do, and right now it's gonna fall there to a perfect 3-0 sweep in grand finals. Storm and a Teacup is going to be your FTIU Week 37 champions.
And the crowd goes wild. People in chat are mentioning that this was a flawless victory, and that is an impressive feat on its own. But definitely don't discount Grisco's Workers Union. We saw just how strong of a team they were in the last set, and that even just adds more to the victory that Storm and Teacup got, beating such a team that had such a strong show. So absolute congratulations to Storm and Teacup. Y'all did so amazing. But also, definitely give a pat on the back to Grisco's Workers Union, especially for that last-ditch effort. They did not give up hope until the very last second, and that is extremely commendable.
They sure did not. And still out of 64 teams fighting their way here to get second place tonight, not a shabby performance at all. Nothing to be disappointed in there. Congratulations, Grisco Workers Union, on that second place victory. Storm and the Teacup, your champions. Diamond Rays and Scarlet Fizzy currently 1-1, fighting it out in that third place match here in gold bracket. And just looking up, we're not going to be able to finish this off here on stream, but we can see Pick Up With Friends and Axolotl Anarchy in the silver bracket finals, with Ink and Destroying Kit Kat there fighting it out for third place. And in the fan favorite Brone bracket, infamous, only here in FTIU will you get your favorite Brone bracket. RNG Novo and Hot Cocoa fighting it out in grands there, and Elegant Ruby and A New Dawn fighting it out for those third place matches. So if you want to see how those turn out, who takes those brackets, of course, join our Discord. We'll be posting those as soon as they're available. But as far as stream goes here for Week 37, that's gonna end it for us. So tell me, where can the good people out there on our stream tonight find you?
It was a good one. You can find me on Twitter at WeefSlider, and Twitch occasionally, not much anymore, but Toma, where can we find you?
Yeah, they can find me at Crest of Gautier on Twitter, or here at Twitch at twitch.tv/Toma_. Thank you again, everybody, for tuning here in tonight. Congratulations to Storm and a Teacup, and we hope you'll be joining us. As I said before, join our Discord. We are a bi-weekly low-level tournament, so we'll be running again, not next Friday, but the Friday after that, and we are huge thanks to all of our players. We absolutely love you for coming out and supporting us week after week after week. With that being said, that's going to wrap it up for us. We hope you have a great night, and we'll see y'all all again in Week 38.
Doodles.